Yo, laughing man, what is up, my brother? What is up? Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I am happy to be back. Things still trying to get into the groove again. All right. So I'm happy to be back. Um, as you guys know, that for the last 2 months or so, I've been on vacation. So it's nice to, you know, get back into the groove of it. I miss doing these lives with you guys. I miss seeing you guys. Miss talking to you guys. So, you know, I'm glad uh, we get started with doing some live streams, okay? I've been thinking about some ideas too. I'm gonna go like when I was over on vacation, I did some TikTok debates. Okay. So I wanted to add on some TikTok debates. So what I will be doing eventually, um, I don't know when yet. Okay, but I'm gonna have some I'm gonna be streaming TikTok debates on the YouTube for with you guys, right? So on my phone, I'm gonna have debating people while you know streaming it live with you guys. So I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be fun and interesting. That's what you call it. Yes, that's what I call it. That's what I call it, my brother. Hope you're doing well, my brother. All right. I hope you're doing well. Have you been starting your streaming? I mean, or your videos? I thought you were gonna do some metal work and stuff. I don't know if you started it. I definitely recommend my brothers to get into content creating. It's always fun, right? I know TBD was doing Legos. I'm telling you guys should do whatever your passion is. So I'm definitely recommend it. All right, all right. I got some TikTok videos tonight. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. So let's check out some TikTok videos. All right, so I got a few TikTok videos. In essence, right? We talk about how a lot of women, they, nowadays they're talking about women. They don't need men because, like, you know, divorce rates are high, marriage rates are low, singleness is very, birth rates are low. A lot of people are single, right? A lot of people are not getting into relationships. So, and in particular, a lot of women say, they're strong, independent. They don't need no man. A lot of women say that they're better off single. Um, and sometimes I question it. Okay, I question: Are women actually better off single? How is a single life for women? I really question it. So I have a few videos that may shine a light on what single life is like for women. Because back in the day, what women had was family, right? Women had the men taking the brunt of the real world punishment, while women handled the house. Okay. They handle the stress of the house. It's stressful. I'll say that. It's stressful, but not as stressful as the real world. So we'll be talking about that. Let's talk about this.
I am 24 hours away from being homeless. I'm unemployed, 41, and I'm single. But this is the first time that I have completely let go of everything. All 5 fingers have been released from the cliff, and I'm kind of doing a trust fall. I leave for New York in the morning. I'll be there for 3 weeks, and I have no idea what's next. I've applied for over 1,000 jobs, and I've had 3 interviews. And if another person tells me to optimize my resume, I might have a stroke. I'm not even worried. I think I pretend to be worried because I don't want someone to think that I'm egotistical or think that I'm naive. I'm not worried. I know something is coming. I don't know what it is, but I'm ready for it. Got my bags packed, literally. Wish me luck or send me a job lead. I am
Evil Eddie, what is up, my brother? This is why, if women were men, I said this before, right? If women were men, they would be incels, right? Women would be incels. Look at this, right? 41, single, no job. Practically, I mean, you know, single, right? No job, no prospects, no nothing. You are pretty much an incel. Let's break it down a little bit.
24 hours away from being homeless.
And homeless. 24 hours. 24 hours away from being homeless. Ain't that something? So you have pretty much nothing. This is the thing where I think it's funny because you constantly hear this rhetoric that so many women are owning homes. Owning homes that they can't afford.
I'm unemployed, 41, and I'm single. But this is the first time.
41. 41 is not old, but it ain't young, right? It ain't young. And you have no prospect in nothing. Is this the life that women fought for? Right? Is this the life that women desire right here? Like you imagine this, okay? And I'm pretty sure this is what women fall for, right? She focused on career, focus on trying to find a job, focus on independence, right? Not focused on a man. Cool, fine. But what has that got her? Almost homeless, jobless, single. Great. Right? Great. Gotten her nothing. And to be honest, it's gotten her almost rock bottom, it seems. This is a life that women wanted right here. Because a lot of women don't realize what reality is. Okay? Reality isn't as sunshines and rainbows as women think of it. I'm gonna have tons of friends. I'm gonna have, a great career. I'm gonna have, men that desire me, but I'm not gonna give them the time of day. Okay. We'll see how that goes.
That I have completely let go of everything. All 5 fingers have been released from the cliff, and I'm kind of doing a trust fall. I leave for New York in the morning. I'll be there for 3 weeks, and I have no idea what's next. I've applied for over 1,000 jobs, and I've had 3 interviews. And if
Sounds like you're unqualified for all the jobs you want.
another person tells me to optimize my resume, I might have a stroke. I'm not even worried. I think I pretend to be worried because I don't want someone to think that I'm egotistical or think that I'm naive.
Or that you're delusional. It's like only women, right, have the capacity to be so delusional that you are about to be homeless, you're jobless, you're single, but you don't need to be you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry.
I'm not worried. I know something is coming. Don't know what it
You know something is coming. See, that's the delusion that women are allowed. Okay? You're allowed to be this delusional. You're allowed to be this delusional. Because there will be also, today's day and age, with social media, with like all this, able to post, you're able to be this delusional because women will come to your will be supporting you digitally, right? It's like, you go, girl. Things will be well. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
is, but I'm ready for it. Got my bags packed, literally. Wish me luck or send me a job lead.
And you're ready for it. You're 41. You're 41 and you're gonna build at the ground, a ground level, like the ground up. You're building at the ground up. You don't have nothing to build. At 41, you should already have something already. Okay, it's either in the middle of building or something. But at 41, you have nothing. You have no foundation. And it's like funny because the great thing is like you could read other comments. How there's a woman that said, I'm 42, I'm homeless. I live in my car with my 2 puppies. It's absolutely beyond awful. I hope something pulls through for you. Another woman, 6 years, no job. There are no jobs. It's like a lot. This is the life of a lot of women right here. This 41. Yes. This is the delusion that women put on, right? This is what the world that a lot of women don't see, or they try to ignore. This life right here. Because a lot of women will say, focus on your career, focus on your friendships, right? Focus on your friendships. So you don't need a man, you don't need a family, you don't need kids, you don't need marriage. Okay, cool. Right? You have your job. You see how that goes. And you have your friends, huh? We'll see how that goes.
Tell me why my friends, right? They going to uninvite me to their graduation party. That is crazy. That is crazy. They invited me, they uninvited me, and think that I'm not about to pull up. Like, they must be out their mind. Like, how you gonna invite me, they uninvite me? Like, ooh, this is a nice place. This is nice. Like, where are they? Ooh, and they got a DJ. They gotta be here. They gotta be in the party room. Hello, everyone. I want to give a shout out to my fake friend who uninvited me to her graduation party. Yeah, she uninvited me, but I just wanted to say congratulations. Congratulations. I still came anyway. So y'all uninvited me? So I could not come to the graduation? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all really partying. This is crazy. Y'all real fake though. It is. Y'all real fake. Y'all real fake.
First, I can tell why, she sounds annoying, but imagine going to where you were not wanted. Yes, exactly. This is what women are banking on. Friendships that are not really all that much of a friendship.
I wasn't invited. Is nobody understanding this? Is nobody understanding? Why am I here? Because I could be here. What happened? Because I could be here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Oh well. I'm here. Hello?
This is the thing. Get an actual life, right? Have a family. Stop focus. This is the thing. A lot of these weak friendships that a lot of women are banking on means what, right? It's like this is the life that a lot of women are banking on. The friendships, ridiculous.
I just got home from drinks with my coworkers and we were talking about how all of us really want to find partnerships. We all really want partners. And we had a long discussion about how we feel like it's not like men or women that's the problem. It's this culture that like promotes avoidant attachment, and how people that are emotionally available and open to like attachment and settling down are kind of like beat down in our current dating culture. And I am so emo over this, and I am so committed to the fact that this is the problem, that we're saying, ew, how dare you be emotionally available and open to a relationship? That's not independent enough. You're too codependent. Why would I want to be with you? And I hate that. That's so gross, because we're supposed to want to be with other people. That's part of being human. That's what makes us different than every other creature. Why is this the way that it is? I just got home from drinks with my coworkers and we were talking about how all of us really want to find partners.
It's because of women. Okay? It's because of women. Captain Palsy, what's up, my brother? It's been a while. I missed ya. Thank you for being here. It's women. This is the thing where a lot of women don't realize what's changed, right? What's changed by the time where, marriage rates were high, birth rates were high, okay? It's women. Women changed it. Even she said, right? We're meant to, be together and all this stuff, but what's the group, right? What's the gender that says I don't need no man? Right? Women. Women are the ones who say I don't need you. It ain't men. Men are not out here screaming, I don't need you. Women are. Women are the ones who constantly say, I don't need you. I'm too good for you. Women are saying that. Women are the ones who say they don't need you. They make it difficult for you. They make it difficult for you to be with them. Right? Women are the ones who are making it terrible. Women are the ones who are making it hard. And women are the ones that are so expectant.
This is my proof that I think that the population is going to slowly decline, because I am in a room of like 100 men, and not one of them has approached. I just think men this day and age don't want to date. This is my proof that I think that the population is going to slowly decline, because I am in a room of like 100 men, and not one of them has approached. I just think men this day and age don't want to date. This is my...
Men don't want to deal with you, right? It's not that men don't want to date. Men don't want to deal with you. You are so expectant. You are lazy. You're egotistical. Okay? And you are part of a group that constantly sprouts out, right? Men are creeps. This is a thing where men have become to realize that women are a poor investment. Women are a poor investment. Men have, for so long, understand that you got to invest in women, but only until the last couple of decades, maybe a couple of decades, right? That women have become a terrible investment. Divorce rates are high. Right? Divorce rates are high. Women don't mind using you, right? Hookup culture, okay? Dating the top 20% of men. So men have become to realize that women are terrible investments. They're terrible investments. Yes, they don't care to deal with women like this. They don't care. Men are out here, a lot of men have become to realize that, I'm just going to focus on myself. Mr. Smith, what is up, my brother? I missed you. I miss seeing you guys. I really have. You guys are amazing. Miss seeing you guys. women have come to be just, they have not realized that they have become worse human beings, worse partners in a sense. A lot of women don't realize that they anti-Semitic. What is up, my brother? A lot of women just, they don't realize that they have destroyed the dating market. Okay. Dating has not become fun. It's been worse. At least if you're not the top 20% of men. Okay. So, you know, a lot of times men are just done with women like these. They're done. So, and a lot of times men also realize, what's the point? Right? Marrying these women is going to get you where?
As a wife to a husband who doesn't have hobbies outside of his wife and his children, men with hobbies are gross. What do you mean your husband spent all Saturday golfing? Your husband's in bowling league and he was gone all Monday evening? After work, he'd rather go to the bar with his buddies? Ew. As a wife...
Marriage. Truly the shackles of life. Women make relationship look terrible, and women make marriage look like a piece of trash. Did you hear this disgusting ass woman?
To a husband who doesn't have hobbies outside of his wife and his children. As a wife to a husband who doesn't have hobbies outside of his wife and his children, men with hobbies are gross. What do you mean your husband spent all Saturday golfing? Your husband's in bowling league and he was gone all Monday evening? After work, he'd rather go to the bar with his buddies? Ew. As a
We live in a world where women are divorcing men because they need to find themselves. We live in a world where women are saying that they have no individuality in a relationship and divorcing said husband. We live in a world, right, where women, right, feel like they're just a wife and a mother, and they divorce their husband. And here's the thing. Women are the ones who divorce predominantly. About 60 or 70% of the time, it's women filing for divorces. And do not believe in the propaganda. It is not, because of finances. It is not because of infidelity. Now, those are, part of it, but they're not the main cause. They're not the main reason. The main reason is what I just said, right? She doesn't feel it. She fell out of love with him. She needs to go find herself. She feels like she's just a wife and a mother. That is it. Yeah, we never talk about, what about the man? Maybe in his thing is like, I'm just a husband and a father. Okay? I just focus on being a husband and a father. I don't need to focus on myself. I focus on my family. And guess what? She still leaves you. She still leaves you when you take away any individuality and become a husband and father. Take away all individuality and focus on your family. So it's okay for women to push the narrative where, you know what? F your individuality. Right? F you finding yourself. F you having any kind of hobbies. No, it's just you better be just about your family until she's fed up with it. Because I guarantee you, look at her, right? She's probably in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. I guarantee you, when she's in her 40s, I don't want to be just a wife and a mother. But the man has given up all his individuality for his family. Hey, but that's disgusting, right? It's disgusting that he has any individuality.
Wife to a husband who doesn't have hobbies outside of his wife and his children. As a wife to a husband who doesn't have hobbies outside of his wife and his children. Men with hobbies are gross. What do you mean your husband spent all Saturday golfing? Your husband's in bowling league and he was gone all Monday evening? After work, he'd rather go to the bar with his buddies? Ew. As a wife...
They make marriage sound so amazing. And they already make relationships, the dating market, shitty.
Can we discuss the ratio between decent or attractive women versus decent or attractive men? Because women, we come by the pound. I mean, we come in packs, all fine. And then men, not so much. Like, who fault is that? Eve?
Yes. The dating market is great. The double mohawk. The dating is amazing. We have women out here just shitting on men's looks. While, right, fake hair, whole bunch of makeup. Fake hair and a whole bunch of makeup. Awesome. Right? Great. Right? And yet, the audacity to shit on men's looks. This is why I just, the video of men not approaching. You're going to find the men that approach you ugly. So why do men even approach? Men rather, you know what? I'll do my own thing, right? I'll focus on my own happiness. I don't need my ego destroyed to inflate your own ego. Right? Here, this woman is, right? Just shitting on men's luck. Saying, oh, there's so many good-looking women. Okay? Then go for them. But you know what? Almost zero good-looking men. Ridiculous. That makeup doesn't make even them look great. It doesn't. No. To be honest, makeup has become making women look like trans.
Amber 34. It's the earring for me and the slits in the eyebrows. Yeah, no. It's a no.
No, is she someone that's your type?
She's very pretty as well. Not necessarily my type. More of a like natural type of woman. Yeah.
That's cute. I'm very natural. Besides the makeup and the hair.
Yeah. Besides.
Natural besides the makeup and hair. This is why Kevin Samuels, the Godfather himself, says, "What's your rating? Fresh face out of the shower." Right? What is it? Because if you actually are honest, your rating fresh face out of the shower probably be a 5. At best, maybe a 6.
Mm-hmm. That's not, yeah, that doesn't make sense, but okay, next.
And what do you mean that doesn't make sense?
A woman wears makeup when she goes out. My body's 100% natural and my hair is extensions, but that, again, that doesn't mean anything. The slits in the eyebrows is giving very juvenile and childish, and I don't like it. And the hoop in the earring is So let's go there.
Beautiful.
If you say...
And the attitude. The attitude. So it's okay for you to criticize his looks, but God forbid he criticizes your looks. Yeah, the insanity of that. And that is what men are dealing with, that attitude right there, right? That is what men are dealing with, the attitude of women. This is why they're walking away. This is why men are tired of it, okay? This is why less and less men are approaching. The only men that are actually approaching are the men that never give a shit, right? They will hit it and quit it, pump and dump. But those are the men, right, that will not care. The ones that will pump and dump. Because they don't mind your attitude because they're just pumping and dumping, right? They don't mind the fake hair, the whole bunch of makeup because they're just pumping and dumping. They're not committing. And this is why these women don't understand. It is your fault, right? It is your fault why the dating market is the way it is. It is 100%. I'll give women a little bit of credit, right? Maybe about 80 to 90% their fault. How the dating market is, how marriage is, how society is. It is women. Women are the ones to change it, not men. What is up, everyone? Thank you guys for being here. You are one of those guys. I mean, I don't chastise the men for, pumping and dumping. It is what it's part of the game, right? A lot of these women, they allow it. Okay, they allow it. Okay, so there's this long video I wanted to check out, right? Kind of like those it's kind of like those Jubilee movie videos. So I want to check kind of what I don't watch. I'm trying not to watch the Jubilee ones. Well, it is what it is. I've heard the best way for a woman to wear makeup is to not wear a lot. Yeah, I mean, like I've heard. Again, I agree, right? Not a lot of makeup, like a little bit of foundation, maybe a little bit, a very toned down lipstick, and you're good. Women, women put it too much. Where nowadays, a lot of people are thinking about, are you trans or you not? So, it ain't that great. What the fuck? All right, so I don't know if this is gonna be good or not. We'll see. Um, Hopefully it'll be fun to talk about, to react to. So let's check it out.
Modern feminism no longer represents the views of most women. We'll start.
Modern feminism no longer represents the views of most women. To be honest, I don't think feminism ever represented the views of most women. What I've heard, right, when feminism started, most women didn't want to go to participate in the workforce along with men. Now, women have always worked, right? Especially low income women, because, well, you were low income and you had to work. Okay. But women didn't desire to, yo, Omni, what is up, my brother? What is up? Yeah, women didn't desire to compete with men in the workforce. They rather, right, do the small jobs that they could have done, whatever it may be, and focus on the household. So, yeah, but definitely, modern feminism is pointless.
Start by bringing up everyone that agrees now. Okay, I guess since there's only one of you over here, I can start with you if you're ready.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different for me because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Most women rejected feminism from the start.
I believe feminism has the capability to represent everyone, but I think from a perspective of, is it inclusionary to everyone? I don't think so. I think there are a lot of focuses of the feminist movement that are focusing on things that are primarily white and upper class, and it kind of doesn't include women who face other issues, like women of color, or like something that's near and dear to me is like the murdered and missing Indigenous women. And so I think a lot of times that can kind of like get left out in the modern movement because there is a group of women that is far removed from that. And so that's why I would agree that oftentimes it can be centered mainly on like a white perspective.
I would say that it doesn't represent most women because I think most women are not quote unquote feminists anymore. And I think you're seeing with Generation Z, that generation is shifting back to more traditional values. They're putting more emphasis on family and marriage and wanting to have kids. And I think we've seen a lot of the failed policies that feminists have pushed through, like DEI, where a lot of women are getting hired that aren't qualified for positions. And so I would say,
particularly white women, right? The DI program has helped women, white women, the most. The DI program has helped white women the most.
say that because of that, feminism doesn't represent most women now.
I'd agree with a lot of what she said. I think that the foundation of feminism is what most women relate to, with just wanting equal rights and to be seen as an individual. But what it's been turned in today has kind of taken it way beyond that and really challenged gender roles, which I think are important. It's unfortunate to see women be kind of almost feel like they're lacking in something if they're not in the workforce or they're not that kind of boss babe mentality. And so I definitely would say that's why I don't think modern feminism is what most women are really in their heart wanting to strike.
I didn't know that. British feminists who traveled to India pushed to have the local Indian women treated as second-class citizens and denied the vote. So much for the sisterhood. I did not know that. Full disclosure, I love me some white women. I've never dated white women, but I mean, it's always been a thought.
Yeah, for me too. I agree with you guys as well. I think that like the original intent for like the feminism was to like just see like women have equality and opportunity, access to like education, political participation, to vote, things like that. And what we see today more so than often is where it's more like comparison, like to men, trying to compete with men. I don't think that like the same intentions of what it was originally for is still the same.
So studies show that women don't agree majority with feminism. And so that's going off of data. If we look at data, most women don't. And I think that's because feminism has turned from something into like what you guys were mentioning and has shifted into a more radicalized standpoint. And kind of to bounce off of what you were saying, I think there's a specific group of women that still aren't included at all, and that's pro-life women. And so it's like you can't be a feminist if you're not pro-choice. So I could never be a feminist, by a lot of people's standards at least.
Okay, and I think that's a good time to bring up everyone that disagrees.
For me, this was a hard one for me to answer because it was like, what is modern feminism? Like that like to define that, I feel like I could have, because the more you guys are talking, the more I'm like, okay, I actually agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, but it's like, what is modern feminism? So I think that's even like part of like this.
And I've said this before, right? I believe modern day feminism is the fight for power. It's the advocacy for women's power. It isn't for women's equal rights, even though I believe it never was, right? I believe it was always meant to be women wanting power, right? I that's what I believe. I just believe that women hide it under the disguise of equality because they know how to be steps, right? You had to fight for equality, and then the next step is for power. But I believe modern day feminism, 100%, it is the fight for power. Women want power, not equality.
Discussion of like, I don't even think feminists even truly know what really is feminist anymore because so much has changed of it. So it's just like, to me, when I think modern feminism, what I did is just the basic definition of feminism is just equality. So I would think, yeah, most women would like that, would agree with that. But like, it's very clear what feminism is and how it's defined, and what even is considered modern feminism may actually be different because of how much it has just changed.
For me, feminism is just everybody's like views like being respected. So I know, like you say, you feel like you would never be able to identify with being a feminist because you're pro.
No, I mean, I do understand that men seek power, right? But I think men seek power to in my opinion, is to tame the world, in my opinion, right? In the sense, to tame environment. I think women seek power to what? To power over men. The advocacy is the power over men, right? While men never thought, in my opinion, right? Men never really think about, oh, I want power over women, because men never really viewed women as a threat, right? I think men had one power over society, over, the environment, in my opinion, right? So, yeah, I agree. Men all seek power too, right? But I also think is like, again, it's part of the maybe biological, right? Where men is very, testosterone field, where they seek achievements. And you know how it's like how men constantly try to one up each other, right? Men trying to like championships, right? Championship belts, Stanley Cups, just whatever, right? It's constant need for achievement, right? In a sense, to just achieve more. That's why I think men's more ideology is just the goals of, conquering, right? Not necessarily, oh, let me conquer women. No, right? It's just, I think it's like the whole animalistic, just like how a group of men would like hunt a mammoth, right? It's like it's just very animalistic in a sense. Women, I don't believe women had the capability for that, or the mindset like that. But modern day feminism, I believe women are doing it in the sense that I want power over men. That's my thing, right?
Life. Like for me, if I met you just anywhere and you said that, I'd be like, oh, well, that doesn't mean you're not a feminist, But like you said, that's per person, right? Like feminism is such an individual thing as well. Like it means different things to different people. And I think like you said, like there's a white.
This is why I don't really like to, I don't really like to go with how people view feminism. I like to go about it how feminism as a whole, in general, goes about things. So, and that's thanks to social media, for my opinion, right? Where how I see feminism going about, it's not fighting for equality. It's fighting for power. Okay. So let me give you an example, right? Let's say abortion. Abortion is a big feminist topic. But if you think about it, right? Women are trying to fight for bodily autonomy, or reproduction rights. Okay. But when you think about it, they're fighting it for themselves, because in reality, men have no reproduction rights. So if a woman gets pregnant, a man cannot cannot force her to get an abortion. A man can't say, no, I don't want to have a child, and she has to get rid of it. Or, yes, I want a child, and she has to keep it. Right? While women say, my body, my choice, I can say no or yes. Okay, but then what about the man's reproductive rights? He has no right, no or yes into if you give birth or not. Also, he has no say on if he wants a child or not. He has to, if you go through the courts, right, our legal system, excuse me, he has to, if you win a case or whatever, he has to pay child support if the court decides it. So he has no way to opt out of, fatherhood. While a woman has the ability, or now they're trying to fight for or supposedly fight for the ability to opt out of motherhood. So really, aren't you fighting for power that men don't have. So you're fighting for power.
Version of feminism, right? Like we can't take white feminism and put it in a different country. You know what I mean? Like a different culture. That's not gonna work. We could accidentally actually oppress them even more. So I think it also kind of goes into those layers of like feminism is individualized because we're trying to respect everyone's autonomy. And I think that's the beautiful part about feminism, in my opinion, is that it's more complicated than just having one set definition.
Cool. One thing I want to do before we jump into the open conversation is just get like a short, maybe like what you guys think that your definition of what.
Oh, exactly. Right? Evil men live rent-free in heads of feminists. Well, meanwhile, men just trying to survive. Exactly. Men are not thinking about women, right? When it comes to life, feminists are thinking about men.
Feminism is.
I see feminism as a movement that is like women support all women, women wanting to like dominate in different fields and just like be in more spaces, and like the sound of it is nice, but I think the political side of it that like unintentionally it always does come into it, which would be like political slogans like the pay differences is like they'll really hone in on that, or the sexual revolution, all of that, empowering sex workers, we're all about that. Just very radical, maybe even minority viewpoints takes up the majority of the movement. And it's the viewpoints that I don't agree with. That probably didn't answer your question.
No, I think it
But
did.
it's so hard to define because I really don't know.
It did. I think anything
Okay.
you say would be the answer.
Yeah.
It's your definition, right?
Yes, exactly, because I'm a woman, so it can mean whatever I want.
Okay. I broke character 10 minutes in. All right.
Okay. So for me, kind of same thing as you were saying. It's more about like, I guess, how they empower women. I don't view myself as a feminist, but what I see people saying about feminism is that empowerment.
Here's my thing, right? Feminism was never for minority communities, particularly not for Black communities. That's why I say, if you are a minority, feminism has poisoned your community. What did I say? Women have always worked, right? Particularly low-income women. Guess what? What are usually low-income women? Minority women, right? So feminism was never meant for you. You were already working, right? You had to work. You had to work. So really, feminism, what did feminists do for you? Vote? What is voting? What has voting really done for minority women? Because here's the thing. For decades, right? For decades now, minority women have predominantly voted only Democrat. So what has the Democrat Party done for minority women? Nothing. It hasn't really done much. It hasn't done much of anything, right? Nothing in particular. So really, all it's done, right? It's broken up the biggest foundation for minorities, the community, family unit. The Black community in particular have the lowest marriage rates, highest divorce rates, and highest single mother rates. Great, right? Feminism has done a great job for the Black community. This is why other minorities, they're trying to fight that. They're not really, they're not desiring feminism in the community. I mean, you can see how feminism is destroying China. Feminism has pretty much destroyed Korea, right? And it's destroying Japan, right? Feminism has lowered the birth rates of almost every Western world, every industrialized world. Feminism has done that, right? So really, feminism, yes, feminism killed the Black community, 100%. It's destroying the Black community, and it's destroying pretty much every Western world.
Rights, I agree with that. It's just certain parts of like.
Oh, don't get me started on Kathleen Kennedy. Man, she should not have worked. I say this, right? Feminism has destroyed men's hobbies, right? Men's hobbies has been destroyed by women. All right. So really, don't get me started on feminism entering men's hobbies. Okay. Gaming, women are absolutely annoying, right? Because men will like, bust on each other. Oh my God, you're so misogynistic. You're so racist. You're so, men don't mind, right? Men don't mind like busting each other's balls on it, right? But women have to make things really PC, or the games have to be inclusive. Inclusivity in comic books, it's killed comic books. This is why manga, right? This is why manga and anime aren't dealing with that shit, because they don't give a shit by Western ideology to be inclusive and to be all that shit. Men can go retro. We're fine.
Feminism that I agree with, as far as like the rights, the education, the vote and things like that, is more of like the extremist, the radical side of it. There are certain viewpoints that I don't agree with, that feminists tend to like. I don't consider or look at gender. I consider biological sex. And so I think it's really the definition individualized to each woman, I guess.
I think with feminism, I do think it has a lot of political ties, and you
100%. Girl bosses killed Western entertainment. 100%. I'm sorry. Feminism introduced gay shit into our, like, heavily, right? We've always had a sprinkling of like gay shit in our entertainment, but we left it on the fringes. Okay? But now comic books, games, lots of movies, constantly gay stuff, constantly trans shit, constantly girl bosses. Like, God damn it. We don't need, okay, I'm going to be sexist. This is the only sexist thing that I particularly have in my bone, right? I do not like female leads in my action movies. I'm sorry. I do not like female leads in my action movies. Now, could there be female leads in good action movies? Of course. But sometimes today, right? Today, it feels like it's pushed on you. It feels like that's the importance. Now, like the Alien, right? Alien, great. Sarah Connor's Terminator, awesome. Okay? But sometimes it feels like it's being pushed down our throats. Okay? It doesn't feel like it's natural. It doesn't feel like, oh, just so happens it's a female lead. No, it feels like, oh, we cannot have a male lead. So it has to girl boss. And it's like, it just feels so pushed down our throats.
just look at the history of feminism and where it dates from, and kind of those.
Oh my God. Turning Iceman gay was the absolute, like, one of the. I'm sorry. I love X-Men. I love X-Men. All right? I love the X-Men. But when I found out that they pushed Iceman to be gay, I'm like, I'm done. I'm sorry. This is, again, just ridiculous. It is really ridiculous. Because, seriously, the guy he's like your stereotypical womanizer in a sense, right? And you turn him gay? Ridiculous.
Historical figure.
Yeah, I haven't read DC or Marvel in a couple years, and I love comic books, right? I love comic books. But it's gotten to it's women have infiltrated it way too much, right? I'm just tired about it.
That brought about new ideas that.
Oh, I love the X-Men. But it's like, and I get it, right? X-Men is about differences. But when the differences is like shoved down your throat, or like every other character has to be gay, right? Every other character, has to girl boss. I'm like, I love the X-Men because of like powers, of interesting storylines. Now it's just like, it's just so, I don't know. It's just, I didn't need to care about their sexualities. I don't know.
Really brought a cultural shift with it. And so
Yeah, the morph thing, I didn't care, right? Because yes, he's a shapeshifter, so yes, it's very gender fluid. Iceman was one of the breaking points, right? Iceman was definitely one of the breaking points for the X-Men. So I didn't really.
So just looking at the roots of it and looking at what that first wave was and what that was really trying to accomplish.
Yes, they fixed the womenizers. I'm like, unbelievable. I swear to God, any man that's okay, he goes for a lot of women is a terrible man. Misogynistic. Ah.
And then seeing what that progressed into, and then kind of like, all right, now where are we today with feminism? And because I get the idea, like it's all about what it means to you and kind of an individual definition of it. But if we kind of look at it more objectively as, well, this is feminism in the modern sense of what that really means today. And if you kind of generalize it, right? And like, what is that as an activist movement really pushing towards? There can be a lot of emotional responses to what feminism is, which I think are important too. But I definitely am trying to achieve certain goals and.
They fixed what they're doing to Johnny Storm. I'm sorry, right? And I like before Endgame, right? I was a diehard Marvel movie fan. After Endgame, everything went off the rails, right? The whole I don't know what Feige is doing. I really don't know what he's doing. Right? Everything after Endgame was like, it seemed like woke ass shit. It's like, are you kidding me? Do you not know your fan base? It's men. Your fan base is men. You gotta be kidding me. No, you're getting me triggered, right? Talking about geek shit, like the woke shit, getting into the geek verse. This is why I've said this, right? I believe feminism, right? It's killing men's entertainment. Men's entertainment, right? We have so little in this world, and yet you have to go into our sphere. Come on.
So yeah,
it is hard to know exactly what that definition.
Like we're not entering like the world of Barbie and shit like that. You have your shit. Come on, why you gotta try to neuter our shit?
Is, but I would say I do wrap feminism into the pro-choice movement. I think they're very attached. I think feminism has pushed for the breakdown of the family, and I believe in the biblical roles of womanhood and manhood, and I feel like feminism has coined the term toxic masculinity, and I don't believe masculinity is toxic. I think there's men that exhibit toxic behavior, there's women that exhibit toxic behavior, but I think it's really been an attack on masculinity and also pushing women to think that.
And that's the thing, right? Toxic masculinity. They have pushed it that, okay, you know what? Action movies for men, men's entertainment is toxic masculinity. It's like a boys club. Bitch, so what? Why can't there be a boys club? Right? We literally have women trying to push, all female gyms. Oh, really? So safe spaces for just women is okay. But spaces for just men is toxic now? Are you kidding me? That's the insanity, right? If it's places for just men, it's toxic. You got to be inclusive. If it's men oriented, it has to be inclusive. But women need their own safe space for only women clubs, only women gyms. Oh, okay. Yet for men, men's entertainment, which men have always enjoyed, we need to diversify that shit. Are you kidding me?
They are men, and we are not. We are biologically completely different, psychologically created different, and I think what makes us unique is those differences, and those differences need to be celebrated, and instead I feel like the movement is really kind of pushing us towards a genderless society, and so that would be the best way I could define it.
Okay, and now I'm curious to hear what the feminists have to say feminism is.
Yeah. I think for me, my personal definition is like the collective activism to uplift women where they are And that could be at any range. It's not exactly, like they've said, it's not exactly a whole group movement. Like, we are not pushing to get rights that we have now. It's a lot more subtle and nuanced in what each woman needs to feel empowered and uplifted. And so I think feminism as a whole is meeting people where they are. And then also that feminism is for everyone, regardless of if you are a man, a woman, or someone who identifies as a different gender.
For me, if I just had to put it in one word, that's autonomy. Just having the choice to live our lives the way that we want to live, not being, can't buy a house because our husband won't let us, being able to vote, right? Like thinking of like the first couple of waves of feminism, but even now, even with the third of choosing what you can do to your body and if you want to be a mother or not, making those choices. So I think truly it's just about autonomy of a woman being able to have the ability to choose how to live the life that they want to live and the beliefs that they want to believe, even if it is disagreeing with feminism or even if it is, disagreeing with abortion. A woman has the right to be able to formulate those beliefs if that's what they believe. So to me, that's really what feminism is aside from whatever anyone else believes or what society thinks women should be or behave. It's a woman gets to choose that, gets to choose their beliefs, gets to choose who they are, gets to choose the lives that they want to live.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I also agree. You guys said a lot of stuff, so kind of to wrap it up, but I think it is autonomy. It is being able to choose what you want. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with different opinions than mine, you know what I mean? That doesn't impact me. If I'm gonna advocate for something, then yes, I will, but personally, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. It's this is a thing where you wonder why, right? There's a growing side of America where more and more women, right? Women are gaining more debt more than ever, right? Women are increasing in their debt load. Women are actually buying houses that they can't even afford. There are houses that are going into foreclosure because women can't maintain the payments.
Have a problem with you as long as you're respectful. You know what I mean? So I think that is feminism, is being able to respect different viewpoints as long as they're not harming other people, which I do think is just a general human thing we should be doing, right? So I definitely think it is, if we're talking about modern feminism, it is trying to advocate for marginalized groups, in whatever shape or form that looks like, trying to uplift others.
Oh my God, don't get me started. How they constantly want to remake male-oriented, male-led movies into female-led movies. Like the Ghostbusters. They fucking ruined that franchise, right? They ruined the Ghostbusters because they wanted to make that shit woke. They ruined it. It's get out of men's content. Get out of men's entertainment. Right? I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe women did like some of the men's stuff, but they liked it because it was men's shit. They didn't like it because, they wanted women to lead it. Stop with that BS. Your main audience is men.
And in my opinion, if it doesn't cause anyone any harm, if it doesn't impact your life, and that's what makes them happy, then that's what makes them happy. And I have no problem uplifting someone for them to feel happy with their life. So.
Real quick, Counterpoint is a small Midwest team creating space.
Would choose to be at home and take on a more domestic role in the relationship. And I don't.
Women are happier in traditional gender roles. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
100%. Women are happier in traditional gender roles. Now, a lot of women want to fight against that narrative, but women are happier in traditional gender roles. They're happier with the family. They're happier, not dealing with the grueling world, right? They're happier. Oh, see, that's the thing, right? If that was true, that would be crazy. But I'm more angry about what the movies that have already happened, right? I'm more angry about the movies that already happened that women wanted to change. Yeah, they ruined Ghostbusters. I'm seriously. And to be honest, it's they ruined Ghostbusters so terribly. Everyone is always stirred off from Ghostbusters. They are scared of Ghostbusters because they don't want to give it a try. So no, they ruined it.
Okay. Ended with you last time, so I'll start with you this time.
Okay, I think most women are happier in traditional gender roles. Obviously, not all women will align with that, but I think a majority would. And
Oh yeah, they already did the Iron Man shit, right? They already did the Iron Man shit. Trying to replace Iron Man with with a black girl is like, yeah, you're kidding me. Like really? They already tried to do that with She-Hulk, even though Mark Ruffalo is a piece of shit, but
I think even
they ruined Star Wars. Definitely did.
feminists would say, like, if they had the ability, whether that be financially or a husband.
Did you not hear what they did? I think they ruined Star Trek too, right? I don't know about you guys. If you guys kept up with I don't know if you guys are Trekkies, right? I'm not a Trekkie. I had a girlfriend that was, but they definitely are ruining Star Trek, right? What is it, that Academy thing, where they're having it's just like gay Klingons or shit like or whatever. It's just women are fucking ruining men's entertainment. Get out.
Husband that is suitable for a traditional role would choose to be at home and take on a more domestic role in the relationship. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if you have the opportunity, most women will take it.
For me,
oh yeah, the X-Files with minority leads. I don't know about that. Yeah, like seriously, why can't you just make something new? I mean, like, why do people just want to regurgitate things? Just put, I don't know, a female or minority lead or a gay lead. It's like, God.
because I'm a Christian and I go by the Bible, the traditional role for a woman was designed.
Oh yeah, say even Eddie said, right, the Starfleet Academy thing, right? Right. It's like what is it? They're pushing gays and trans and women to the forefront. Oh my God. They have ruined, right? They ruined Doctor Who for me. They have ruined Doctor Who for me. I'm sorry. All right. Like the 10th Doctor, that was the man. And they ruined Doctor Who for me.
To be a helpmate for the man. I believe in the Bible, so that's just what I go by. So Adam was here, and then God created male and female in his image. And when he did that, the reason for Eve, which was female, was to be a helpmate for him. So to me, that's where the traditional role comes in. I'm not saying that all women have to be just confined to like a husband or inferior to a husband, but
exactly the desecration of our childhood memories. I'm sorry, right? That's the shit I love. And when women step into our spaces and try to shit all over it, fuck it. Let trans women go into their sports. I don't give a shit. Let trans women dominate women in their sports. Go for it. I hope the WNBA have a bunch of trans women. Go for it. Fuck it. Right? I hope trans women will just go all up in your bathrooms then. Particularly since women are supporting that anyway.
Main role of a woman, I feel, is to be a helpmate for the man. Of course, you can work and have all those things we talked about, rights and education and things like that. But you find more women are happier in those traditional roles than being a single woman in your 30s and 40s. So
I think that's awesome to bring up the point, even just back to creation and who we are as genders, that God made Adam, but Adam was incomplete without a woman. And that wasn't to be like, well, we were a second thought, but we were necessary and so important. And so I think that there's a lot of power in that. And just in gender roles today, I believe that we are biologically different from males, and we are made to nurture and comfort and be a homemaker. And unfortunately, the culture has kind of almost downgraded those roles and been like, at least how I've viewed it is, you're not contributing as much, or you're kind of lesser than. Like if someone asks you, well, what do
Yo, I love the geeking out in the comment section. I love it. I love it that we can geek out. I love it. And we can talk about our gripes with women entering our space.
you do? And the woman's like, well, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. It's almost like has a negative connotation to it, just with like the culture shift. But really, that's where a woman finds the most value. And I think a lot of that stems from just the selflessness too of that role. And we're not just living completely for ourselves to just absolutely be the only one in control of everything we do, but knowing that our decisions.
Petrie, what is up? What is up? How can we trust anything the left says after they've told us? No, yeah, I agree. I don't trust what the left says. I'm sorry. This is part of it, right? Another thing, left. This is why I don't care for the left. They are supporters of feminism. So fuck that shit. No, I'm done. I don't F with that shit. Right? So they are hypocrites. They are just, I don't know. I don't deal with them.
Affect others, and we have the power to raise a life up or to be a helper. That's where we find the most joy.
I would agree with everything they have said. I am a Christian, so again, I believe in the biblical role of man and woman, and not that a woman can't find purpose in the workforce, not that there isn't any value in that, but I think a lot of women economically have been pushed into the workforce, and given the opportunity or chance, they would.
Yo, I love Highlander. I hope they do it justice. If they have a lesbian black woman, I swear to God, right? If they change, I mean, they're constantly trying to decide if they're gonna change James Bond into like a woman, and I'm like, fuck it, I can't believe it. If you change James Bond, I'm sorry, James Bond should be a white man, a white man. He should be a white man. I'm sorry, but like he was made as a. I've seen so many iteration of James Bond, okay, and I've liked him, getting used to him as just a white, dashing white male, like leading special agent. Change him to a black woman is like what? What the hell do I want to watch that shit for?
Choose a more traditional role of being able to raise their own children. I don't think most women like putting their children in daycare. A lot of them do it out of necessity. And I know there's a lot of amazing single mothers, but I
didn't see that. Mrs. Smith. Mr. Smith said if God had given Adam a PlayStation instead of Eve, we would still be in paradise. I think so. All right.
Statistics still show that children do better when they're raised in a two-parent home. And so I just think that women were designed with that purpose and nurturing. And even women who I see that they don't want to have children, they end up having a pet, or they call themselves a plant mom. I mean, it's just like innate in us that is part of who we are and what we were created to do. And so when we're not able to express that and we're not able to live out that design that God has for us, I don't think that, we're going to find true happiness truly outside.
Omni.
Of who God designed us to be as a woman.
Okay, how about you?
So for me, I'm kind of looking at this as a stance of a non-traditional woman, typically, like you guys said, single mother, having to, like me, I'm a single mother, and I work several hours a week and building up.
Ugh. Feminist single mother. Ugh.
My own empire. That takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of energy, that takes a lot of work.
Own
that's stressful,
empire.
that's heavy on me. Not only on top of that, I'm also really self-reflective. And so I do a lot of inner and emotional work. When you take the time to integrate the...
Oh yeah, with the I don't know, I mean like with the female CEO, yeah, they're gonna kill that shit. We'll see.
The masculine and feminine parts of yourself. A lot of you guys are talking about it in like an external sense, like as a woman and a male, but what about the feminine and masculine within us? The two roles in which we have that we, integrate in. And so
let me be honest, this whole shit that, a man or a woman has feminine and masculine in them, I think that's fucking bullshit, right? I think that's really bullshit, right? A man or a woman has feminine femininity or masculinity in them, I think that's fucking idiotic, right? A man that cries doesn't mean that he has femininity in him, right? A man that cries doesn't mean that he has femininity in him. A woman that fakes trying to be fucking tough doesn't mean that she has masculinity in her, okay? A woman that can be, a big bitch does not mean she has masculinity in her. She's trying to be. She's trying to be masculine, right? She's trying to be masculine because she's big. She thinks she's big and tough. She ain't a masculine. She ain't actually a man. You're not a man. I hate this thing that we need to have both sides. We have the capability, right? Because we have emotions. It doesn't mean that you have masculinity in you, because you don't know what it is to be a man. And I don't know what it is to be a woman. So to say that I have femininity in me is fucking stupid. To say you have masculinity in you is idiotic, right? You're just able to have different emotions. Thank you. No, because I think it's bullshit. I think it's stupid. We are different. Okay? To cry doesn't mean that you're a fucking woman, right? It doesn't. Men can cry, but you're not a woman. So you don't have femininity in you. I'm sorry. I hate that BS that, oh, we all have like a bit of a, femininity in us or masculinity in us. No, that's bullshit. That's absolute BS. You don't. You're a man. You're a woman. Just stick with that. It's that fucking narrative that's trying to blur the lines between genders, right? It's trying to blur the lines between gender. It's just another way. It's just another that propaganda. It's trying to blur the lines. Oh, we're not that different. Or you know what? It's like, how can I be trans? It's exactly that shit, right? Yo, TBD, what is up, my brother?
For me, it's like when you do that work and you really come into yourself as balanced.
And I kind of think I am the only one. I think I am the only one that's saying that, because I have not heard any other creators say that, right? Or speak out against that.
Internally, from a spiritual perspective, that's not easy work to do. That's challenging. You face the shadow, you face dark parts of yourself. You're integrating two parts of you into a whole and as balance. So for me, yeah, if a woman goes and follows what society says and not having to work and not having to think freely and not having to, to just be a mom, aside from all of it, yeah, I think women are happier because it's less work. It's not as hard on the brain. It's not as hard on the soul to do all of that. There's more discipline that's needed. And so I think it's kind of harsh way to say it, but like in a way, ignorance is bliss, of like, if you just go with the way in which you're taught and told to do because of whether it's society or Christianity is telling you this is the way you ought to be.
Controversially, I think I'm going to be controversial, right? I'm going to be controversial. It's men that are homosexuals. I'm sorry. I'm going to be controversial. Men that are gay can't control their debauchery. Okay? I've been there where I'm not necessarily been there, right? I've been there where I want to have a lot of sex, right? I want to have a lot of sex. So think about this, right? Men that want to have a lot of sex, you can't control yourself. So if you can't have sex with women, guess what you're going to do? You're going to have sex with men, okay? Because you cannot control your debauchery. You can't control your desires, okay? Men that don't have self-discipline, guess what you're going to do? You're going to indulge in, high levels of debauchery. So, men that cross that line, yeah, that femininity is just honestly lack of control.
Instead of doing things differently and seeing things in a different way, that's a lot easier to follow society's way than, truly integrating as a whole.
Just to kind of chime in to your point, yes, I am a Christian. I'm a single mom as well. And yes, it is hard. And I feel like it is hard.
These conservative women is sometimes they're not truly all that conservative, in my opinion. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. To be a single mom Christian, a conservative, is honestly a lot of levels of hypocrisy. I'm not totally right. They're all very situational, but it's like you're a single mom, you're conservative, you're a Christian. It's like,
To some of the points that you said, because it
yes, I mean, like, where does she go wrong, right? But a lot of these women, they go wrong because they still have that ounce of feminism in them, right? Where they go for the Chads, the Tyrones, right? I believe it's feminism that has pushed women to go for the Chads and Tyrones, the men that, are good looking or top tier good looking or top tier height, top tier wealth, top tier charm, instead of men of value, men of character, men of principles, men of who are inside high value, right? Inside, I'm gonna say high value, inside high, just high level of good character. So they pass those types of men, right? Men with great character for men with good traits, right? Good physical traits.
wasn't intended for that way. That doesn't make me any less of a woman, but if I had the choice.
Exactly. What male virtues do these masculine women have? Courage, integrity, fortitude, temperance, honor, duty? No, right? Don't understand masculinity. You don't understand masculinity. Stop it with that BS. You don't have masculinity in you.
As a single mom, I would want the traditional role. And that doesn't mean just to stay at home and raise kids, but to have a partner, one that's, equally yoked with me in my faith. That's what I would choose over it. It is hard, raising a child, going to school. I mean, I went through school and stuff like that, and trying to push her through. It's hard, and it's not just supposed to be that way. So I just want to say that really quick.
I agree with what you're saying, honestly, because there is something beautiful when you can have a partner and co-raise a child together. Like me, I even see with my ex-husband and his, now girlfriend that they also have a child with. Like, that's a beautiful thing that my daughter also gets. But there's just, it's so, there is something very beautiful in that and very balanced in that. But it is also, there's so much, I think, even benefit of my daughter even seeing me just as a single mom alone doing it, because it's like I'm teaching her as a woman, you can really do it all,
No. I'm sorry. No, you cannot do it all. This is the feminism BS. You cannot do it all. Do not teach your children that you can do it all. You are setting up your child for failure. Now, if, right, your child is lucky to do it all, right, great, but they fucking won the lottery. Most people cannot do it all, okay? You can't do it all. Stop it with that BS. This is the problem with women right here. You can't have it all. Stop being this delusional. This shit right here is why we have the shit we have, the problems we have. You cannot do it all. You can't have it all. Okay? Having it all is an offshoot. It's the lottery. Okay? Most women, majority of women will not have it all. Right? Have it all. A great family, great husband, great kids, great job. You can't fucking have it all. Right? You can't. It's just idiocy. Okay? And teaching your child that you can have it all is setting them for failure. Right? Showing off your kid the single mother life, you are creating a generational curse. I was so stupid. I dated a woman, right? I was so stupid. My ex, right? Not thinking. Her grandma was a single mom. Her mom was a single mom. Guess what happened? She became a fucking single mom, right? It's because of mentality. It's the mentality. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I can do it all on my own, right? I can do shit on my own. I can suffer on my own. I don't need no man. You don't understand the curse you are creating, the generational curse you're creating. Women like this are dangerous to their children.
And like, you really don't need anybody to accomplish it. You know, yes, it would be nice. It'd be great. Personally for me, you know, it's great to be loved. You know, who doesn't want to be loved by another person? But at the end of the day,
I mean, I guess lesbians could be the most insatiable. I'm saying anybody in the alphabet community, right? Anybody in the alphabet community are the ones who indulge in high level of debaucheries. They have no limits, right? They have no limiters. They have no control over their, you know, degeneracy. And that black girl, yeah, I mean, yeah, my ex was a black girl, right? So, yeah. Hairy guy, what is up? Women are pathological liars. Can't trust anything they say. They act. I agree, Harry. I agree. Guys, please like the live. Please like the live. It helps me out, right? So, please like the live. It helps me out.
Do I need that? No. And yeah.
But since you said it's hard, I mean, do you think that you would want that?
I mean, of course I would want to find like a person someday, you know, like I would want that, you know, more so for myself of just what I would like.
Because if you're saying you're going through that already as a single mom, me being a single mom, I don't want my daughter to go through that. So I'm not showing her, hey, yes, look at me, I can do it. I can do it. I am doing it, but you don't want to do this really. Because this is, you know, it's hard, like you said, mentally, emotionally, physically, it's hard. So
yeah, it is hard. It is hard. But if she wanted to, like, if she did not want to be in a relationship with a man and she wanted to get a sperm donor and have a child herself, and that's the way she.
Are you fucking stupid? Why would you, that's not a good thing. That's not something to promote. That's not something to advocate. That's something you say, no, don't. Do not bring a child into that kind of life. A child needs a father and a mother, 100%. Like, this is honestly the stupidity of feminism, right? This is the stupidity of feminism right here. Okay? The best outcome a child can have, right? The absolute best outcome a child can have is from a father and a mother household. And yet, even that is not a guarantee. So imagine that, right? The best outcome a child can have is under a father and mother household. And even that is not a guarantee. So, and you are willingly bringing a child into a single mother household. You are absolutely a terrible person. You are absolutely a terrible person, right? Willingly, sperm donor shit. Are you stupid? You can't even make it work with a man. And now you're going to bring a child into this? You don't have the temperament to deal with others. Low IQ women like this, woman is a danger to her child, 100%. A woman like that is going to create the next generation of single mothers. This is the problem with single mothers, right? They don't realize that they are the problem. They are creating the next generation of single mothers.
She wanted to do it and feels empowered by that, then I of course would like raise her up if that's the choice that she wanted to have. You know, but I also, there are tons of benefits to having it being like a 2-person household. There are plenty of benefits to that. But I also still think there's other opportunities and different perspectives that can be taught the other.
Single mothers statistically are the worst household to come from, right? Doesn't mean that I'm not putting down, you know, it doesn't mean that single mothers are automatically a terrible household, right? But statistically, right, it is a 2-parent household, a mother and a father, single father, then single mother, right? They're the worst household to come from. So stop it with your BS, right? Don't empower your stupid child to do the same stupid thing you did. This is why women like this are stupid. I'm sorry. You are literally garbage is coming out of your mouth.
Their way as well too that are equally as valuable.
Now, I think it's a good time to bring up everyone that disagrees.
I know you mentioned something about like a helpmate or something. You said the word helpmate.
Yes, God, in the beginning, God created male and female, and his point for creating female, Eve, was because Adam God said that it was not good for man to be alone. And so, I mean, he had all the birds and the animals and all that stuff, but he didn't have someone comparable to him. And so the point for him creating Eve was to be a helpmate, a helper.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, like, from what I heard, it sounded like you feel like that's what should continue nowadays. Like for me, like if my fiance called me,
You know, TBD, right? Same thing, right? My mom mostly raised me. I love my mom to death. I love my mom to death. There is no, I don't think there is like, I mean, like, I love my daughter too. So, but I love my mom to death. But here's my thing. Here's the thing. I had a difficult time. I had a difficult childhood, right? I had a difficult time becoming a man, right? Being into, developing into my manhood. Thanks to only being raised by my mother, right? The only thing where I gained the knowledge I needed to gain, right, is in my late 30s, right? In my late 30s was how I gained the maturity that men needed, right? I gained the knowledge, I gained the experience that men needed. The sad part is that, right, I should have had a good father to instill those good examples, those beneficial, right, experiences. So yes, single mothers don't mean that they're that it's automatically a terrible household, right, or a terrible thing. But the problem is that a lot of times, men need guidance from other men. So it is a very hard thing that a lot of women don't realize. You need good men in your life.
his helpmate, I would leave. I would have to walk away and honestly reconsider some stuff because I'd be like, no, I was not created to be your helpmate. Like, get out of here.
Are you stupid? Okay, if a man is useless to you, right? He does nothing for you. He does nothing at all for you. Right? You be with him if he does nothing for you. This is why a lot of these women have these degrees, but they're useless degrees because it doesn't make you smarter. Actually, just perpetuate your stupidity. Right? So, would you think that you should be useless in a relationship? Like, this is the problem with a lot of women. Why they can't get relationships. They are egotistical. Right? Women are egotistical. Women are lazy. Women are lazy and egotistical. They think that a man, right, shouldn't be incompetent, right? Weaponize incompetence. Yet, God forbid, right? God forbid women have women, right? Women are incompetent. God forbid women actually help the man they love. God forbid. God forbid women can actually do something for the man they supposedly fucking love.
Respectfully, actually disrespectfully if he called me that. But no, I mean, I think like women, if you want to have a husband and you want to get the white picket fence or whatever, people say, and, do whatever you want to do, like, power to you. Like, I have my cousin, which is like my best friend, she is a stay-at-home mom. Like, and I admire that girl because she goes through so much. I spent a day with those kids and I was like, dang girl, like this is rough. Like that made me not want to do that actually. Like I want to have kids as well. Like I'm engaged, I want to get married. I'm also getting my master's, like however.
Oh, please. This is why men do not be fucking desperate. This is the problem. Desperate men will get with this bitch, right? Desperate men, right, will get with this insufferable feminist. Literally, a woman out of her mouth, it's insufferable being around kids, but I want kids. It's insufferable being around kids, but I want kids. God forbid I help my man, but I want a husband. Are you fucking crazy? Are you kidding me? And she wants a man. Like, I swear to God, brothers. I mean, like, if I can say, and if I can pass any message to men, please stop being desperate. travel the fucking world, right? You can find a better quality woman all around the world. But if you stay in your little bubble, right? In your little state, in your little city, in your little town, you are going to be desperate and get with a woman like this. Please, my brothers, don't be desperate.
I would put my kid first, but I have a calling with my career. Like, I'm going to school to be a therapist, and I want to work with troubled youth.
A therapist? Oh!
I currently work with troubled youth, and I've been doing this for 4 years, like since I graduated with my undergrad. And I have seen so many kids that need someone because of whatever circumstance they have. Some of them have 2 parents, and they're still going through things. And I would never give up that career of helping kids that need it, because I feel like I need to be at home. Like, yeah, I love, let's say hypothetically, like I will love my child, obviously, like maybe I'll take the year off, but I would want to go back to work because I love my job. Now, some people don't have that. Like maybe they're like content with their job and they're like, well, if the option presents itself where I can stay home, like then yeah, do you, but I do think if women find a job.
Imagine getting therapy advice, getting advice from this woman. Yes, therapy isn't a real job. Therapy is like, honestly, because here's my problem with therapy. It's therapists, right? This woman is advising you. This woman is helping you with your mental health. F that shit.
That fulfills them, honestly, that they would rather like have their own thing, because I would imagine like being at home with kids for 18 years would drive you crazy. And then the kids are going to grow up one day and they're going to leave. And then you need to have your own thing. Like,
guess what? That is your fucking husband. Literally, she said nothing about a man. She said her career and she said kids. She said her career and kids. She said nothing about a man. And then when she said, okay, 18 years, the kids leave, now you have their own, you literally did not even think about the man. Where's the man in this? I swear to God, it's just, these women are unbelievable. My brothers, please don't be desperate. Harry Guy, they are also completely out of touch with the reality with their head in the clouds. That will make a man's life a living hell, trying to meet their unrealistic goals of how their life should be. Exactly. Inmates of Arkham are giving you therapy advice. Exactly.
It can't just be your husband or your kid. Like, you need to be your own person. Like, that can be an identity of yours. Like, my goal is to have kids. I want to have kids. But that's not going to be my only be-all, end-all.
She didn't say nothing about her goal is to be a wife. Right? Never get with a woman that her goals is to have a kid instead of being a wife. I'm sorry. Even if you don't want to be married, right? Even if you don't want to be married, but if the woman you're getting with, her goal isn't you, do not get with that woman. I'm sorry. Because if her goal is kids and her career, you are interchangeable, right? She can leave you at any moment because her goal was never you to begin with.
Like, because I know my kids need to see like a good role model as well,
Mm-hmm. So I'm like a
good role model.
Chronic dependent. My husband was in the military. Now he's a firefighter. Like me and my sister joke about it. We're dependents. Like I am a dependent because I depend on my husband so much. And personally, I think being his helpmate, whatever you want to call it, is so much easier than what he does. Mm-hmm. He puts his life on the line. He works long hours. He does so much. He gets home and he gives me and the kids 120% all the time. Like he does so much and I get to help him do that and hang out with my kids and do all these things. Like I've been so blessed in the life that I've lived because of him. So being a helper to him is not only my calling, but it's quite literally like the least I could do. And so there's a lot of honor for me that comes from being his helper and from being his dependent. And so And then from like the Christian perspective, like when we see the helper, we see that as such like an honorable title because the Holy Spirit was the helper. And so it's not like a helper as in like a servant or like an oppressed person, but it's a helper as in like something that completes something that was divinely created. So,
and in a healthy marriage, the man is empowering of the woman. I think so many view it as like the submissive wife as like a lower position or like you're thought of as less than, but it's like no, in a healthy marriage, actually that is like a very empowering thing for a woman, and that man will bring that to that marriage and help you become, I believe, the best version of yourself, and you're helping him become the best version of himself. And you know, obviously there's unhealthy marriages, but that's the way God has designed marriage to be.
And that's kind of what I was saying. I mean, like to your point, I have to do all of that. If I had the choice, if I can do it over, I would have done it that way, God's way. But at that time, I didn't know God. So that's all I was saying.
Yeah,
I mean, great for her to, you know, get better, I guess. But finding God, right? Finding God after you became a single mom is just, I don't know. Because my thing is like, it's hard for women to change. It really is, right? It's hard for anyone to change, but it's hard for women to change. To find God after you've been ran through, after you had a child by a man that you either don't want or can't or doesn't want you is, I don't know. You didn't have the foundation of God, but after you ruined your life, now you do. Now what is the next man getting, right? He's getting, I don't know, it's just.
I think the main reason I disagree is because traditional gender roles tend to box people up into a certain person they have to be, and that extends beyond just a woman. Like, I know you mentioned earlier toxic masculinity, and I do believe that's a thing because I think as a society we push onto men such traditional roles to be the provider, to be the protector, to not allow them to have space for themselves and do the things that they enjoy and maybe pursue. And like with your husband, I'm sure he has a very tough job, and like all of that sort of things is like, I think traditional gender roles just kind of box everyone up into those things and don't allow for us to become our whole selves, whether that's your calling and helping your family or your calling with helping children who need it. And so I think people can be more than just what society has assigned to them for their gender. And so I disagree that most people would be happy in that.
You know, this is why women can't critically think. Having gender roles, right? It's not a complete and only thing, right? So saying a man that provides and protect doesn't mean that's the only thing he ever does. You know, it's like women are the ones to confine men to a box, right? It's like women are the ones to confine people to a box. Being a provider and protector doesn't mean that you can't be a geek, right? It doesn't. I can still provide and protect for my family, even if I like geeky shit, right? I mean, like if I bought cars, I can still provide and protect, even if I bought fucking cars, right? It's like, seriously, providing, protecting isn't a 24/7 shit. It doesn't mean that it's like every minute of your life. It's only women that's thinking, oh, it boxes you in. Who says it boxes you in? It's just one piece of the puzzle, right? It's just one thing. It's only women that thinks like, oh my God, you know, society only boxes you. Who says that? It doesn't mean like society says that, oh, this is the only thing. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Women enforce gender roles. Exactly. Even lesbians practice gender roles and expect someone to handle the bills. Yeah. No, yeah. I don't, yeah, that's why the religious grift too. Yeah, I'm not, that's why I'm not into it too. Yes, toxic masculinity, mansplaining. Ugh. But it's like, you know what? You can't help not mansplain shit because I'm sorry, so many women cannot critically think. They can't critically think.
The more you guys are talking, the more I'm like feeling what you're saying. Well, especially when you came up and you were starting, because you brought up a point, because like I did the traditional wife thing. I got married and I had a child and I, came home. Like, yes, I worked, but when my work started when I started investing more into that, and even after becoming a mother, I think this was probably the hardest part for me, becoming a mom, and probably what ended my marriage, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, the protect cliche, I mean, for me, I'm tired of it because it's not appreciated. That's how I see it, right? Protecting is not appreciated anymore. Men put their life on the line for women, and it's not appreciated. Okay? Women think cooking and cleaning means anything. It doesn't. Men are putting their life on the line for their family. You can cook and clean for the rest of your life. It means jack shit. When it comes to, if he lays his life on the line, that's one and done, right? If he lays his life on the line for his family, that's one and done. You can't do that over again, right? Her cooking and cleaning means nothing. So they don't, I think people don't appreciate it enough.
I lost my entire sense of identity because I felt like I had to be a mom from what society.
Exactly. Nothing is appreciated. We are ATMs to them. Yeah, exactly. They don't appreciate what men does.
Society expected of me, and I had to be this way. I couldn't work these hours. I couldn't do these things. I felt in a box, and I feel like in that I ended up losing a piece of myself, and it took through my marriage ending and going into a 50-50 custody where now I truly have 50% of my time for me. I got to create and build now an empire for myself and doing it with the things, I had to learn, even after becoming a mother and becoming a wife, that there's still me, that there's still an individual sense of me that has goals, that has dreams, that has passions, that has a purpose, that has a soul-driven purpose, aside from just being a mother or a wife. Like I had to learn that even now, there's still different parts of me. There's the part of me that's a mother. There's the part of me that's a colleague. There's the part of me that, is spiritual. There's, the part of me that is a friend, all of those things.
I find women incredibly dense. You couldn't be a friend when you were a wife. You couldn't be a colleague when you were a wife. You couldn't be spiritual when you're a wife. It's only women that needs to be a divorcee to become spiritual, to find themselves. Only women can do that shit, right? You need to be a divorcee. You need to leave the man you chose to marry. You need to leave the man you chose to have a child with to be your fucking self. And an empire is like absolute BS. It's like ridiculous.
It was hard becoming a mother in the traditional sense, and being in the traditional sense, because I felt like I truly couldn't be myself. And that wasn't anything that my partner did. He never made me feel like I had to do that. I think that was just society, and I conditioned myself thinking I had to do that.
Yeah, it's 100% you. You are the problem. Women are the problem. I'm sorry. Women are the problem in dating and in marriage. Women are the problem.
Especially because I thought my whole life, I want to be a mom. This is like the most amazing thing in the world, which it is. It's wonderful. It's a blessing, to give life. It's a blessing, but it's very hard. It's a very different lifestyle than I ever would have thought it would be, even with a person full time,
So I want to push back against what you said. I think if you were to survey most men, they would say they want to be the provider and the protector. God designed men that way. And men were created to be leaders. They were created to be the pursuers, to be the hunters. That's like in their DNA. So when you strip that away from a man, they do lose their purpose. And I've seen this with, the feminist movement and in dating. I've talked to men about this, and there's times when they've opened the door for a woman and they've been like chastised for that. Like, I can do that myself. And so now they're like, that's the role I feel like I should fill. Like, I feel like I should do that. But now, like, I'm getting like chastised for doing the right thing. And so like, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I pushed back, and I was like, but if you feel like that's what you should do, if you feel like that's your role as a man, like, do that. Like, who cares what other women say? Like, if that's what you feel called to do that, because the right woman's going to appreciate it. I know I do. It's not because I can't open the door, but I appreciate when a man does that for me. There's a lot of things, I'm a single woman. There's a lot of things I do, and I can do them, but I'd prefer not to. If there was a man there to do it for me, I would prefer that. So
I hate that fucking shit, right? Mr. Smith said it, right? They push this retarded narrative that they lost themselves in the marriage when in fact they didn't have a personality to begin with. Exactly. Right? And they become fucking bored. These women become bored. They become bored. This is the thing. Women thrive on drama, right? They're bored. A man that provides everything, a man that gives everything to a woman, she's fucking bored, right? This is why women love toxicity. It keeps them guessing. Why do women constantly get with the worst of worst men? Why are the wife beaters always have a wife, right? Why are the cheaters always have someone to cheat on? Why? Because these men keep women guessing, right? These men keep women on their toes. This is why these women constantly go back and back with these men. You don't hear women easily leaving, right? Abusers, right? Yet they can easily leave a man that provides for them. And that's, women can easily leave men that have provided for them. Yet they constantly said it's so hard to leave a wife beater, right? An abuser. It's so hard. It's so, you don't realize how hard it is to leave a man that abuses a woman, right? You can't, it's not easy at all. Yet, it's so easy for her to leave a man that provides for her, that's been a good father, been a good husband. Wow. That blows my mind. Being a good man, right? So easy to leave. Being a shitty man, she constantly goes back to him. Yo, TBD, thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. But that's insane, right? That is just absolutely ridiculous. These women are just they want drama. These women want drama. Okay? I'm sorry, right? I've dated so many women that like they cannot just stand to be in peace. They can't. They need drama. They need something to happen. It is tiring.
I would say that no, most men do want to take on those roles, but they have been criticized by women for doing that. So a lot of them have stepped back and have allowed women to become the pursuers, but that's not how we were designed. And so I think when you go against biology, I think when you...
Exactly. They can find hundreds of reasons to leave a good husband, but they can't think of a reason to leave a dusty. Tells you everything about them. Exactly. I'm sorry. How many times have you heard women saying, "Oh, I go back. I constantly go back to the bad guy or the good guy, right? I constantly go back to a good guy." But how many times have you heard women say, "I constantly go back to the cheaters and abusers"? Right? How many times? I've heard that so many times, right? Of women going back to the abusers and cheaters. I don't think I've ever heard of a woman going back to a man, a good man. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I've never heard of a woman going back to a good man. But I've heard plenty of times of women going back to liars and abusers.
Go against God's design. No, people are ultimately happier. And I think society shows that this isn't working out.
Yeah, I feel like when you say like the thing about, I don't know, like men not feeling comfortable or doing certain things, like, I mean, I don't know, because I've seen like a lot of my friends like dating people, and these guys are stingy. They're like, no, like all these women just want like sugar daddies. All these women just want to be maintained. All these women don't want to have jobs, like 50-50. So I don't know if it's a generational thing, but I feel like a lot of young guys nowadays are like, oh, this girl just wants to be maintained. Like, I'm not going to maintain this girl. Like, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Are we choosing that, or are we being forced to by these younger men who are like, I'm not going to maintain you. Like, go 50-50 nowadays.
This is the bitch that says she wants to focus on her career. So, no duh, men are saying 50-50. Here's the bitch that is saying, oh, you know what? She only talks about having children and their career. No, duh. She's not talking about I want to be a wife. So you're the reason why men are like that. You are the reason why the generation of men, right, that you're dealing with are like that. It is your fucking fault. Out of her mouth, right? She's the reason why men are like this. Absolutely stupid.
I think it's a cultural thing. I don't know how it happened, but if you also go to other cultures, like men do that. And they are like, I saw this interview, someone was interviewing people in the US and the men were like, no, 50-50. And then they went to another country and they were like, no, I'm the provider and da 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 da. And it's like, I think men nowadays also like don't want to do it. Like maybe it's because of the.
It is because of you. You are a poor investment. Why would men do it when literally out of your mouth, you said that you were focused on your kids and your career, right? You wanted to find yourself. You are literally the demographic that will divorce a man. You are literally the demographic of women that will divorce a man. You are part of the 60 to 70% of women that will divorce a man. Do women not know how to critically think? Right? Do women honestly do not know how to critically think? Out of her mouth, she's given the reasonings out of her mouth, right? It's coming out of her mouth, and yet she can't figure it out. I'm sorry. It's like, why are there so many stupid women? And I'm being honest. Women are not stupid, right? I know some intelligent women, but why are there so many stupid women? Why are there so many stupid women? How can you say that men don't want to provide anymore, right? Want to go 50-50, and yet then out of your same stupid mouth say that I don't want to lose myself in a relationship. Oh, you know what? I think about children and my career. Nothing about a husband. Nothing about a man. And then you're surprised that men want to go 50-50. Because you are the very reason, right? You are the very demographic of women that will divorce a man because she lost herself.
Economy's hard. Maybe it's because like X, Y, and Z, but I do think it's also them. Like I wouldn't put it so much on us because like a lot of the guys out here are like very anti-wanting to be the whole full provider.
Yeah, and like
It's because of your fucking fault. You are the problem.
Come from the waves of feminism,
Yes.
though. You're like, how did we get here? This is how we got here. Because for years and years and years, we've been pushing that like almost this competition between women and men, and women entering more men's spaces, and women saying, I don't need a man. And we're at the point now where those men are in their dating years, they're getting married, and they're like, they listened. They're like, okay, yeah, you're right. It's 50-50. It should be equal. You're right. And so, yeah, I think that's how we got here. And then I wanted to say to what you were saying earlier, just with about it being so hard and like those gender roles, I think because so often who suffers the most from feminism, that ideology is the child. The feminism, I think a lot of it is like very self-centered and very like, what do I want? What benefits me? I want to be my own individual person, and I just.
Yes. I agree with her. I agree with her. Feminism has made women egotistical. Feminism has made women selfish. They only think about themselves. Fuck the kids. Fuck the man. Fuck society. What about me, 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 me? That is feminism. I'm a 10, so what about me? What about me, 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 me? That is feminism for you, all right? Fuck the child. Fuck the man. Fuck society. What about me? I'm a 10. What about me, me, me? Yeah.
Deserve this and I deserve that, which not to say like, oh, you don't deserve anything, but it's like, it's very me, me, me driven and less about like, how can I give and how, seeing or fulfilling that beautiful role of being a mother, but maybe it's not maybe it's not a mother, but it's that nurturing role in whatever space you may be in. But it's because society has just really pushed the individualism and the self-care and the you deserve this and and it's become kind of a narcissistic thing. So that I just wanted to add that because what you said made me think of that.
Well, and it's like we've created the enemy is like the child of becoming who I am. And it's like, no, the child is not the enemy of you being who you are. A mother is a role you play, but the child is not somehow preventing you from you being your best self, becoming who you are, or being fulfilled.
And I just have to say, my child is not an enemy. Like, I've never once felt that way about her. It was just how I thought, like, I had to 100% completely change my identity. And, and I think you were talking about like narcissism and like self-care and it's about being selfish. But what do we do on an airplane? We put our air mask on first before we put on somebody else. How can we help anybody, even especially our children, if we aren't thinking about ourselves and what we need? So if there's something that we need as a woman, regardless of like whatever that is, like for you guys, it's your Christian faith and, these types of things, you guys might need that as a woman. I don't necessarily need that. And
selfishness, right? The selfishness. And you should never had a child. And you should never gotten married. Right? This is what like Mrs. Smith, I think it was Mrs. Smith, right? Women lack the sense of duty. Women lack the sense of duty. Like you said you have masculinity in you, right? You said you have a bit of masculinity in you, right? Where's your sense of duty? Yo, TBD. My child isn't the enemy, but I don't want to see her 50% of the time. Exactly. Right? Exactly. My child's not the enemy, but I don't really want to see them all the time. But yet a man, right? A good father is heartbroken that he can barely see his child. A woman, a child is holding me back from being my fullest, my truest self, right? Achieving my full potential because I have a child. Yeah, it was beaten. Yeah, exactly. It's sad.
So it's about, things that we need from, again, everyone's life is different. Our cultures are different. Our perspectives are different. And so we have to also consider, are we taking care of ourselves? Are we taking care of like what we need? Because if we're not filling our own cup up, we're not going to be able to fill up anyone's cup, even our own child. And so I don't think it's narcissistic or selfish to think about the ways in which we need to take care of ourselves and what we need. Well, because like I'll still put my needs, I consider about my needs, but I also think about my child, and I know in 50% of my time, I can just 100% meet my needs. And so there are the other 50% of the time where I will sacrifice what I need at times for her, but ultimately if there's not that time where I can fulfill myself in a way or have a balance of doing what I need as a person, as an individual person, and trusting like even my own relationship with, God, that and what I'm being led for God that I need to pursue, then I don't think that's selfish or narcissistic. I think that's being self-aware and recognizing that you can't truly help somebody unless you help yourself.
And I don't think you should abandon self-care. I mean, that's definitely not what I'm advocating for, because you do have to take care of yourself physically and mentally and all those things to be a good mom and provide and take care of your child. So I would say, like, I agree, it's not totally absence of taking care of yourself. I mean, I would advocate for going to the gym and for doing positive things, right? I think it's when you think your identity and what you want out of life is more important than providing for and taking care of your child. So I see that.
My whole point is like this entire conversation, we've gone back to the boxes. Like we've gone back to a very traditional man,
It is that you people, right? It's that you people put yourselves in boxes. This is the insanity, right? It's like, this is where these types of people, okay, lack, I don't know if I say common sense, but lack the ability to have stable relationships, okay? You want time for yourself? Find a good husband where he would take that, the struggles of a child, right? It's like, okay, you want to go, get a massage, spa day, right? You want to work? Well, you doing the hours that he's not working, or it's like it's partnership, right? It's this is the problem with a lot of these women can't seem to grasp, there's more to the day than just the few hours, right? Like manage your time correctly. I mean, it's like I just find this a problem with a lot of these women, where it seems like they box themselves in, right? That they can't do anything besides being a mother or being a wife. I really think it's absolutely idiotic. You're cooked. Yes.
Traditional woman. And at the end of the day, I know I will never have kids because I'm not a nurturing person. I do not want them, and I know that I would not be a good mother. So it's unfair for me to then give life to a child that I know I cannot adequately take care of. Yet, for a lot of perspectives, I'm seen as a very selfish person for doing that. I have friends who have had to go through the foster care system because they have had parents who cannot take care of them. And had we allowed them to be more than just the role that they were assigned as soon as they were assigned a mother or a father or a man or a woman, I think we would be a lot better off. And also too, like, a lot of this is very on a US scale. I mean, you think about the 4B movement in South Korea, where they have insane amount of that type of traditional role thrust upon them. And the women there are feeling very oppressed because, they can't leave their husbands in very horrible situations. They have a hard time.
That's not what the fucking 4B movement is. And the majority of women, right, are not getting married or having kids or whatever. It's not because of, they can't leave their men. It's because of, it's economics. It's usually because of economics. Okay. They find it hard to raise a family. It's like, absolutely don't talk about shit you don't know.
I'm in the workforce making money for.
And you know what? Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. I said this before. This is why that other woman, I wish she didn't have a child, because we don't need more feminist single mothers, right? We don't need more feminists giving birth to children. I'm sorry, we don't. We don't need any more feminists continuing their line. I hope she goes. I hope her line goes extinct. I hope so. We need feminists to go extinct.
Themselves. They have men who don't appreciate them and value them as human beings. And so I think overall, I don't think a traditional role would make everyone happy. And it just puts you into a box that you have to force yourself into if you are outside of that norm. And not to say your guys' faith isn't important to you guys or anything like that, but your whole basis of this is your faith, which not everyone shares. And so it's something that I think, again, we're just box the entire time and not thinking from other perspectives. And that's why I don't agree most of the time that people would be happy in a traditional role.
I think if you look at statistics, sorry, I was just real short, just outside of Christian faith, if you do look at studies done, that it also backs up that women are more happy in those traditional roles. Of course, not everyone, of course. That's more of a generality to say more women would be happier in a traditional role. Of course, there are exceptions and people that don't fall into that box, and there's nothing to say wrong with that.
No, I was just going to say, to your point there, I was just like you. I didn't want anything to do with kids. I didn't want any kids. I actually was going to abort my daughter because when I was pregnant, like I said, I didn't grow up in church. I didn't know God. It wasn't until I had her and right before I got ready to abort her and was contemplating suicide is that I found God. And so once I had my daughter, I was, like I said, like I was you, didn't want kids and everything like that. When I had her, it was naturally in me to be a mother. That was the best thing in my life, was having my daughter. It's changed my life. It helped me to come into my faith. It's helped me to be a first generational college student.
Mr. Smith. Yo, that's crazy. I'm now into eugenics after listening to these feminists. I mean, I'm sorry if the feminists propaganda can go extinct along with a lot of these women. I wouldn't mind.
Graduate. I'm a registered nurse, so everything that having my daughter has really, really changed my life tremendously with my faith and just education as well. So you can't say that you don't want a child. I mean, if anyone else is a mom here, it changes you.
Yeah, but in hindsight, you're putting me into a box saying that I would be excited to be a mother when it happened to me, and I know I would not be.
Well, I don't mean you. I would say for me, I didn't want anything to do with kids.
And that's fair, but like,
And I don't think you have to have kids. I don't think kids is for everyone. I do believe that.
And
so.
that's just my whole point is we're coming back to like this box of like a woman is this thing, and I fully and truly disagree with that because
a woman is this thing. When, let's say even hypothetically, when 80% is this thing, you practically say 100% because what's that 20% mean, right? 20% in the whole grand scheme of things is like nothing. When 80% is this thing, right? This is the thing when 80% of women have, or let's say when 90% of women have wombs, right? Will have wombs. The 10% that don't means what? Fucking what? Right? It doesn't mean, it means that women have wombs. Even if you're part of the 10%, it doesn't change the fact that you say that women, right, have wombs. So because 80%, 90% have it, that is the majority. Right? So that is the box. That is the box.
we have a plethora of women here who have different lived experiences who are not in the same box. And at the end of the day, like, I do disagree with your statistic because there are studies that show women who are not married and single are happier than married women in that. And on top of that,
they're actually not happier, right? They're not. I would say this, right? A lot of those women, they fake it, right? Because here's the thing. The same statistics that show you that women are happier, right? Not being in a relationship or have a child. They're also on antidepressants, right? Ain't that something? The same women that say that they are happier not in a relationship or marriage or have children are almost coincide with the women that are on antidepressants, are on some form of medicine for mental disorders.
Men have a higher life expectancy when they are married to a woman, but that is not the same for her. And so I think in this modern time, in this modern era where we
actually, it is. Women have better, women
have a plethora of diversity, and we are no longer trying to fit into the single image of an American family that is white, 2 kids in suburbia. I think it just does not match for a lot of people, and I think we exclude so many perspectives by saying this very specific thing is what everyone would be happy with, because it's, again, a very limited perspective.
Yeah,
I did it.
I want to say, not defend you a little bit, but I feel like you did say, you can't say that you wouldn't be happy or whatever you said. So I think you're projecting your experience onto other people, which your lived experience is your lived experience, but I feel like you can't project your experience and assume everyone would have the same experience. I don't think you're intentionally doing it, but
this is a thing where a lot of women can't understand words. There's a difference between saying everyone or people in general, right? No one said everyone. Please stop being so stupid. No one said everyone, but in general, women are happier, right? Women are happier in a family dynamic.
I think it's coming off that way. Yeah. And I think when you base your opinions based on only your lived experience.
I think a lot of women lie those happiness shit, right? The happiness, it's, and this is the thing where, let's be honest. Us as men, we understand reality. Happiness is fleeting. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Nobody is happy 24/7. Nobody's happy 24/7. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. You're not happy every fucking day.
Experience that's super biased. You have to at least try to be open-minded and try to be oh yeah, I get that, or I don't know, just look past your own experience that you have gone through.
I mean, but I lived that way though. I lived the way outside of Christ and with Christ, and that way didn't work. So I have nothing but to go off my experience. Just like people bring up statistics and examples of other people, it's the same thing that I'm doing. I'm living it. I didn't want kids, and I said once I had her, totally changed my life. So,
But you projected it
onto me, and I know that I would not
I don't think
ever
you intentionally did that, but you did.
okay, I didn't mean it like to project it on
and
you.
that's fine.
That was
I
me
think-
though, by example. Like I was the same way. That's
But
all.
I think that by you inadvertently doing that, not that it's right or wrong, again, you all have your lived experiences, but by you doing that, it's kind of bolstering my point that like there is a box that you expect a woman to be in, and that box, whether it's your lived experience or someone else's, doesn't conform to the entirety of this world. There are billions of people.
Stop. This is the problem with so many women, right? It's either they talk about the individual, right? It's women either talk about the individual or they talk about everyone. It's like, and this is why when people are more logical, they talk about the generality. Because one, it's like a conversation that goes nowhere, right? You can't talk about everyone. Of course you can't talk about everyone, right? Because there are millions of exceptions. And you can't talk about the individual because, again, there's millions of exceptions. This is why if you are logical, right? If you are actually logical and having a logical conversation, you talk in generality. Because it gives you a more concrete, talking point. To say that, you know what? Women in general love tall men, that's concrete. Women in general do love tall men. Yeah, there are exceptions that women love shorter men, men of average height. Yeah, but why keep on talking about the exceptions? Because then you can't go, the conversation will go nowhere.
People on this planet, and to say that most people would be happy in a system of this gender, that gender, and very traditional, I think is just, it undermines the work of what women have done in the past and where we've come from and where we can go.
Well, and I think too, like I have a very similar experience of you of like being with God, being without God. Because I'll just say I was at one point a very devout Christian Catholic. I mean, I went to mass every single morning in high school before I went to school. And I started, again, realizing sense it brought you up. For me, it brought me down. Same thing with motherhood in a way. Like it took me having to find my own individual, more like spiritual, metaphysical type relationship.
Imagine being her daughter. Motherhood brought me down. Imagine being this bitch's mother or being this bitch's daughter. Motherhood brought you down. I don't want to have you 100% of the time. I just want you to have you 50% of the time because I can't be myself when I'm with you. She should also not have had a child. Feminists need to die out.
Relationship with God and my having to find, my own relationship with my daughter in an individual way in order for me to truly feel fulfilled by those roles as a spiritual, I would call myself a spiritual leader rather than a spiritual follower, but in that role of a spiritual leader and as also in that role.
Spiritual leader. Who the fuck are you leading?
Of a mother. So it's just to show, I guess, from my own personal experience, how you can have relationships with God and not in that traditional sense and not feel fulfilled. And you can't have, marriage and children in the traditional sense and still not feel fulfilled. And I think it's beautiful that you felt fulfilled. I love that for you. Like, I really think that's beautiful. And I think that that's empowering and powerful and a wonderful story. And the strength and courage of that, I can feel. It's beautiful. But it wasn't that for me. And it took a different path for me to find that strength, empowerment, and encourage, and to feel my connection. And it's not that it's wrong. It's a different way. Something like for you guys, I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's a different way.
Women should make their own money. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
No surprise, a
Why
single
should
mother.
women make their own money?
I think honestly, it just ties back to autonomy and also just being your own self, having a career, hopefully that fulfills you. If not, just doing what you need to do to either take care of yourself, your loved ones. If you have children, then, take care of your children. In today's economy, I think most people have to have jobs. So it's also coming from like a realistic point of view. But I think like money can sometimes unfortunately be control. And for me, I wouldn't want to have to ask for money. I would rather just have my money and be able to do with it what I want. So, yeah.
Kind of in a realistic sense too, like you never know what's going to happen. So like your partner chooses to leave you, their partner dies. Like how do you sustain. Everyone needs money to survive in the society. So it's like, yeah, women should make their own money. You know, we should provide for ourselves. We should build our own. I also think it teaches a lot about just hard work and, you know, just hustle, which I think is, you know, to a degree important to have some drive. Like to a degree for sure with that. I think it can get overpowered, but it's good for women to be able to stand on their own. I just think it's really empowering. And again, just realistically, like with the economy, society, and, you know, if God forbid something happened to your significant other, how would you, you know, provide for your family or yourself afterwards? So
Agree with both of you. I think from each of your points, like I work in HR, so I have a unique perspective and where like someone
Works in HR. Yo, this woman is in. This woman is like, she works in HR. Great. This is the woman you're dealing with in HR.
that you depend on passes away. Like I've seen the ugly side of that. Like you now have to think about so many things you haven't ever thought about. Like I'm sure healthcare is not on anyone's mind, but it is something so important and so expensive today. So that's just one of like the practical aspects of it. But also agree with you on the financial. There are so many people that are in financial abuse situations where they can't leave because they have no access to money and they have no skills to, you know, give to society as it is now in a way that society deems valuable. But also something else is inherently, I think, women, no matter what occupation they are, if it's a stay-at-home mom or if they do work inside of the house, I think that should be compensated for what it is because it is extremely hard work. And I think that's something that no matter who you are, like there's inherent value. And so you should be compensated for that.
So I kind of struggled with this question a little bit because I think that women can be at different stages in their life, of course. So I think as any human, as any adult or young adult going into adulthood, I do think a woman should contribute to society. I think, you know, you go get your education, and then if you're not met with like your future partner right then and there out of high school, which that's not always realistic, then it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? You know, you're not taking handouts, you're not just waiting around for Prince Charming to come, right? So I definitely think a woman should enter the workforce. They should find out what they're passionate about, and yeah, know a good work ethic outside of, you know, if their path does lead to motherhood or, you know, being a wife, being a mother. So that's why I ultimately agreed with this statement, that a woman should make their own money, especially before they maybe enter into a marriage. Then I think once you get to the place where you're in a marriage, then it shouldn't be like, I would love for society to not kind of more push like what needs to be two income. Unfortunately, that's just kind of where we're at with the affordability, right? But I would love to see more so a woman doesn't feel like they have to make their own money in the sense that like.
Yes, right? Talk about controlling husband, but they're fine with being corporate slaves. Right? They're fine with being slave to the system. Instead of being submissive to the man that loves you and you love.
Somebody said something about like the power thing, right? Having to ask for money. I definitely believe in a marriage that when you enter into a marriage, it's now we. And like what a husband brings home, that is shared money. And you both make decisions together what to do with that money. So but ultimately, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is the you know what Andrew Wilson would say, covert feminism, right? You both make the decision? No, he make the decisions. Right? He has the final say on what you do with the money. Right? He has the final say. This is why it's the covert feminism shit. Right? It's the whole feminist ideology. You cannot escape it. Even if you're supposedly conservative.
Actually, I agree with everyone. All your, you know, it's 2026, so I mean, everyone needs to make their own money. I mean, I think that for me personally, it teaches you financial literacy. You know, and I can pass that on to my daughter as well to show her how to manage money and what to do with it versus being told what to do with it. So you guys made all valid points, actually. So
I think now is a great time to bring up everyone that disagrees.
So I would disagree with this statement. Not because women can't make their own money. Personally, I've been in the workforce since I was 14 years old. I've never been married. I've always provided for myself. I've worked multiple jobs. So I'm very much able to take care of myself. However, if I was married and it was the best thing for the...
She's not married. This woman looks like she's in her 40s. And she's not married. This is why I'm saying these like... feminist, yes, covert feminists or feminist conservatives. She looks like she's in her 40s, right, and not married. I must, great that she doesn't agree with the statement, but like this is a thing where Does it reflect your reality? Are you following the leadership of a man? How conservative are you then? This is a thing where it's just like, it's like, you know, these women are just like full of bullshit, right? It's just a bunch of full of bullshit. I've yet, in my honest opinion, I have yet to actually see a woman that isn't a covert feminist, right? Isn't a fake feminist conservative, right? It's like, God, it's like women are just stop it with the BS. Just say that you want 50-50, right? Just say, this is why men are not being fooled by this BS. This is why we say automatic 50-50. Automatic 50-50, because I don't give a shit about your supposed conservativeness. You're a lie. Automatic 50-50, right? Automatic 50-50. You're gonna have to work. We both make decisions together. No more. I ain't providing, protecting for shit. You're fake. You're not actually conservative. You're not actually traditional, right? It's like, this is the thing. A lot of these women, I mean, like, I think the majority of these women are not traditional, right? They are covert feminists. They are, feminist conservative. So this is why a lot of men have woken up to it. So they're saying like, fuck it, just 50-50. Right? Let's just do partnership then. Because honestly, I ain't going to be traditional when you're not.
Family for me to stay home and my husband to be the provider, I would have absolutely no issue with not making an income outside of the home. And so that's why I disagree with the statement.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took this question from like a personal perspective. First, like the statement of like a woman should make money, like if they want to, like they don't have to. And so I got married when I was 19. And so like the extent of my work was a gymnastics coach from high school to a little bit when we lived in California. And then I didn't have to work. And then like I never sought money, but if a job came along, like I worked in ministry for a little bit, I didn't seek that, but an opportunity came up and I was the person who was picked to fulfill the job. So it was never about like seeking money or wanting money or stashing money for myself, because that money went to the exact same place that my husband's money goes, because it is, like one of you said, our money. I had a conversation with a woman at the park yesterday and she was like, yeah, we need our own money. And I was like, I don't have my own money. Like, I'm not a big exit plan supporter. And she was like, oh, well, you need an exit plan. And I was like, well, I think if I looked at an exit plan with the value that some people look at an exit plan with, of course, it's beneficial to some people if they have a problem where they need an exit plan. But I think it also can kind of increase that want or desire to leave when it's something that could have been fixed. And so I think if a woman gets into the place where her husband passes away or leaves her or there's domestic violence or something, like a woman will figure it out. And so I think
No, a woman don't need to figure it out. Right? Her figuring it out was picking the right man. Her man has figured it out. Life insurance, he owns the house, savings, investments. This is the thing. The most important thing, this is why women are not traditional. This is why women are not traditional. I'm sorry. A lot of these conservative women are liars. They're fakes. The most important thing an actual traditional conservative woman can do is pick the fucking right man. That is true tradition. Who you pick? The man. Because he is your everything. That man is your everything. Right? If you are truly traditional, if you are truly conservative, that man is your everything. Because if you pick the right man, he would set you up for life, right? Life insurance, his will, his savings, okay, his investments. This is why you pick a man based on who he is inside, his character, his values, his principles. Not because he's fucking tall, not because he's fucking good looking, not because, he's charming. No, because who he is inside. It's like, seriously, the exit plan is your fucking man. Yes, it's a feminist mindset. You don't need to think about an exit plan because you have a man. Right? Even if he's gone, it's because you had a man. right? It's everything about the man. And you got to pick the right man. This is why, right? This is why fathers pick the man for the woman, right? Or helped the woman pick the man. This is why fathers helped women pick the man. Because he think about this shit, right? Fathers would think about this shit. What is my daughter? How is this guy going to provide for my daughter? How is this man going to be the best thing for my daughter? Okay, that is the thing. Yo, TBD, thank you for the love. Been collecting a bunch of good old British news and propaganda for when we. Yeah. I wanted to talk about that. Right, we will probably do something in the next week or so. Right, I definitely want to talk about some the crap that's happening in the UK. Okay, I definitely want to talk about that stuff because I really think liberal ideology, right? Feminism, liberal ideology, all the crap that I talk about here, it's happening in the UK 100-fold, right? The UK is honestly what I see, right? I'm not there. I'm not living there, right? So what I see on the outside, you know, through the window, right? It looks like a shithole, right? It looks like the UK is going downhill. So that's what I see. Okay, it's what I see. I'm not saying that if it's true or not. From what I see, the UK is going downhill. And it's all because of liberal ideology, feminist viewpoints, right? Feminism has pretty much destroyed the UK. Liberal ideology, woke ideology has essentially destroyed the UK. Or it's like it's going down that direction of self-destruction. So I definitely want to talk about how what I believe is happening in Britain, in the UK. Probably next week or so. London has fallen. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think they're a shithole now. I really do. So I definitely I think, right? In my honest opinion, I think the UK's first. I think Canada might be second. I think Australia might be third. I think America might be last, right? To fall, right? If all these countries allow feminism and liberal ideology to fester, I think that's going to be the order, right? I think that's going to be the order. Yes, I've been hearing that. Like, it's like the white population of the UK is going down. It's like, seriously? And to be honest, right? It's all the white people's fault. I'm going to be honest, right? TBD, I'm going to be honest. It's white liberals' fault, right? It's the white liberals' fault because they're absolutely self-destructive. They are absolutely self-destructive. They want to destroy their own country. This is why here on this channel I talk out against Democrats and liberals, because they're trying to destroy America just like the liberals are destroying the UK, right? Or destroying Britain.
Having my own money is completely fine. I don't think it's like inherent.
I'm probably set it up maybe we'll see, maybe next week. Right? Maybe next week. I can't be for sure, right? It's gonna be within this next week or the week after. I'm gonna see what I do. So
Inherently like a bad thing or like I'm trapped or something. I think it's just the choice that I made because I'm very secure in where I am and I don't need it.
I think that's wonderful. I actually kind of liked what you said and agree to like with when you have an exit plan, it's kind of like makes it more like, like it's because I'm a big believer in like your mindset and manifestation. So like if we think that we're going to be in these situations where we're going to have to exit, we're more likely going to exit. And so you having faith in what you've.
Yo, keep me updated, right? Keep me updated on your health, right? If you're still not feeling well by next week, I can make it the week after. Definitely, if it's not next week, it's the week after. So we could do something like that. UK, France, Spain. Oh, okay. You know what? I didn't even think about you know, France and stuff. I think France is a shithole. So, Germany, Sweden. Oh man, a lot of the Nordic countries are they're trying to cut down on that shit, right? I heard some of the Nordic countries are trying to cut back on their stupidity. So we'll see. Yeah, if you're not well next week, we'll make it the next week after. So there's no rush. TBD is in the TBD is British, right? TBD is British. So I wanted to talk about the UK, and TBD's living there, so he wants to, talk about it too. So I wanted to get together and we could talk about it on a live stream. I have lived in the UK for a couple years. I lived in the UK for a couple years, right? Or about 2 years or so, right? 3 years, right? I lived in the UK for 2 or 3 years. Leicestershire, if you know where Leicestershire is, that's where I lived in. So yeah. Oh, we could definitely talk about the I think the Muslim insanity, because I definitely have some things to talk about that one.
Built, and that is powerful, because when you first started talking, in my head I'm thinking, I'm like, but what if, realizing as you were, that's my perspective from my own shared experience, whereas you have, a very lucky experience to be able to find someone so young and build something with somebody so young, and have a healthy dynamic where you can do that. So I think, and again, this kind of what goes back to with feminism, right? Like, you make the choice.
This is stupid, right? She said you had a lucky experience to build something with someone so young. Yet, in what she said, right, her ex-husband is now married already. It kind of thinks about, if he's married, right, and he's has his own family and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like he was the problem. It seems like she's the problem, right? So she would have been lucky to still build with someone, but she just doesn't want to build with someone. She wanted to build with herself. She wanted to create her own empire. So it's not about it's not about the other girl being lucky. It's about her being selfish.
To live your life that way, and that's the beauty of feminism, is you can choose to do that and have that lifestyle. So no, I think that's really I think I like that perspective, because and I didn't think of it that way, of no, you really, if you're always thinking of an out, or of what could happen, you are going to likely create that as well too. And I also still agree with my stance. I think we should just from my own personal beliefs and how I want to live, the ability for women to be able to do that. I also think it's rare. I think what you have is rare. But that's also what I think is honestly kind of beautiful about it in its own sense too.
I'm in a big homeschool group of moms, because I don't work right now, but there's a ton of us who don't work. A lot of us have little side hustles, a little cleaning business, or a doula. A lot of them are doulas, and just do little tiny things, just because we were talking about, we have passions too, and so it's okay to pursue those passions. But I think when I see people talk about this stuff online, it's oh, what a privileged life. And I'm we make a lot of sacrifices and we budget. So it's not that I'm necessarily coming innately from a place of just privilege or wealth, because I'm definitely not coming from wealth. Maybe privilege in the fact that I'm really lucky to be where I am. But I think in a materialistic world that loves material items and things that we think are necessary, like a 2-car house, or owning a house, or having all bedrooms for all your kids, those are all technically material things that aren't a necessity if you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Not all the time, but a lot of the time there are things you can do to do what you want to do, and sacrifice that can be made. So
stashing your money or having it be your own thing, and then also saying making sacrifices, right, about okay, maybe we won't buy this thing so we can afford this thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And exactly, right, there's a lot of cute mom businesses. That's the thing, where those women that actually can find businesses or do something, even while being a stay-at-home mom, those are women that are actually good women, right? Not oh, I'm a mom, I don't know myself. Are you stupid? Are you retarded? It's just because you're lazy and you can't find yourself, right? It's just because you don't want the man, you can't find yourself. You could, if you actually put in the effort. It's just that these women are not being honest. They don't want the man anymore. They're not in love with the man anymore. Even or if they ever were in love with this man, right? So they're making excuses. Oh, I want to go find myself. No, bitch, you just don't want the man. Just be honest. You don't want him, so you're making this excuse to leave him.
Personally, I have tried to plan out my life so I won't have to do that. Making like intentional decisions about, waiting until I get my degree, like, and all those things, because I want to have a career that has more boundaries. So I'm more accessible to my future children. And I don't have to like compromise. And ideally one day I will just like work from home and do like telehealth or something like that. You know what I mean? The idea, I suppose, behind like why this could be like a feminist thing is because maybe not having to make sacrifices, like maybe being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And I'm sure you feel like you can do that, and obviously like being a mom, sometimes you just can't do what you want to do when you want to do it, which is like normal. But I'm thinking like marriage, even before you have kids, you know what I mean? Like if you're married and you're staying at home before that, like we keep saying like when you have kids, but what about before, Then it's like, what am I doing all day? Like what if I want to go, I don't know.
Exactly, Omni. Find myself means trying to find better, right? I honestly think a lot of these women think that I want better. I want different. I think I deserve better. A lot of these women are just lying to themselves and lying to others.
Like do an exercise class, like what if I want to just go get coffee or something, and I have to like, I don't know, I just don't like the idea of asking. And I know you say we shouldn't ask, but I feel like I would feel like I'm asking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do think like that goes into conversation before you get married, ideally, right? You guys like have a conscious, like intentional conversation about we're gonna make an account and we're gonna share our money and this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. I don't wanna say that's privilege, because that hopefully should just be the norm, right? That we like have a partner that's willing to have that conversation with us. But sometimes people just don't have enough money to have that luxury of saying like, oh, we're gonna use this for that and this and that. It's kind of like, unfortunately, a lot of people are living in financial crisis, like week by week, like paycheck by paycheck. I don't know if there was more like,
I think that's a lie, right? If you live in paycheck by paycheck, you are financially irresponsible, in my opinion. And I've lived paycheck to paycheck, so I can say it. I was financially irresponsible. You can see my financial irresponsibility, right? So I had drastic changes. I haven't really bought things in years. This is like my complete financial irresponsibility, right? So I had to stop buying shit, right? Because I was living paycheck to paycheck. Okay. So it's just, you have to, be more financially literate. And that's the problem with a lot of people. Okay. They like to spend more than they actually make. So no duh, you live in paycheck to paycheck, but you don't have to spend more than you make. You don't. Right? You don't really have to. A lot of people choose to, because we think that, oh, let's go on vacation. Let's have 2 cars, or let's have an expensive car, or let's have a expensive house, or like my sister literally, because she has a husband that's like making a lot of money. They bought a $1 million house. Seriously, who fucking needs $1 million house? So you choose your financial path.
female independency, that's probably not even a word, independence, like encouraging women to do their own thing, and like be very intentional with their career and their choices. Like maybe that would be less often. And unfortunately, we do just have to think about worst case scenario. I don't think that's manifesting it. I do think that can happen though. I get what you mean. But I think just like my dad always taught me, like, you should never have to like thank a man for anything. Like you should be able to have your own career and have it be yours and never have someone hold it over your head. And my dad raised me to be very independent because
Yeah. Let me say this, right? Her dad raised her wrong. Okay? Her dad raised her wrong. Now, I can understand it, right? But her dad led her to a path of this right here, right? A lot of fathers don't realize that. And I get it. I understand why, right? So I'm not chastising him, but he honestly, you have hurt your daughter's life, right? You have hurt your daughter's life because let's say example for me. How I'm going to go about with my daughter is that I'm going to give her perspective. That's the point. I'm going to give her perspective. You can't have it all. Right? And if you're a lucky person, you could. If you're lucky. But for most people, for people in general, you can't have it all. So pick your poison. Pick your poison. You want to be a career woman? Go for it. Go ahead. Right? Be your girl boss self. Go for it. But to think that you go be a career woman and then have an amazing husband and like amazing kids and a career woman, you're stupid. You're ridiculous. So you want to be a career woman? There's a high probability that your career is all you have, right? Your career is all you have. That is the likely probability. Now, if you want to be the career woman, right? Focus on your money, make your own money. You don't have to depend on nobody but yourself. Great. But understand that is hard. There's a hard life. That you're a corporate slave. You will have to always buy things yourself. It's a lonely life as well, right? It could be, and a lot of times it's a lonely life as well. But you don't have to depend on nobody. Or have a family, a man you love, children you want, right? Maybe you don't necessarily make all the decision yourself, right? But if you found a man you love, he thinks about you, right? He thinks for you, right? He cares about you. He cares about you, your life, your future, and your children's future. You may have less autonomy, right? You may not have I don't know, money to do whatever you want, but you can still have a man and you still have money. Right? It's like there's pick the poison you want, right? If you want to think like that. But you can't have it all. You can't have it all.
He has seen so many women, like, what's the word, kind of manipulated, like, oh, I gave you this, so now you have to stay with me. If you leave, I'm going to take it. You know what I mean? So I think even my own father, like, raised me to be very independent. So my fiance has never paid for anything for my education, and that's because it's my education. And I want to say, like, I got it on my own.
So again,
Oh, she has a fiance. I swear to God. This is why I said there's a simp for every woman. There is a simp for every woman. There is like it doesn't matter if you are a feminist, right? It doesn't matter if you're a feminist. It doesn't matter if you're fat, skinny, ugly, pretty, 10 kids from 10 different men or 0 kids. You will always find a man. Women do not have a hard time finding a man.
Agree, there is not innately anything wrong with a woman having a career and paying for her own bills and taking care of herself. That's been what I've done my entire life. But because I am a Christian and my faith is the most important thing to me, I believe in the biblical role of marriage. And so my marriage is going to be sacred. And that's going to come before my role in the workforce. And so it'll be a conversation that I would have with my husband. But, if we talked.
I agree. Men will hit anything. Seriously, you saw that feminist. Men will hit anything.
And it made sense for me to pursue whatever career I am, then I'm not opposed to that either. But I don't feel like my significance is going to come from how much I make or whether my husband would be the one providing or, it would be me. I think either way, my significance isn't any less. And so I just don't have the mindset that I have to make my own money in order for me to feel like I'm a woman and I'm fulfilling my role in life. And so again, that's coming from someone where I run my own business and I've been working part-time, full-time since 14 years old. So I just think that the way God designed marriage to be, that the marriage comes first and, that looks different for different people. The husband and wife are equal, different roles.
And remember what I said, right? You can't have it all. Here's this woman, own her own business. Great for her. But even supposedly she has that conservative values, she didn't focus, right, on a husband and a man, a family in her younger years. She didn't focus on a family in her younger years. And it looks like she's in her, I won't be generous to her, maybe mid-30s, right? mid-30s. Now, it's not going to get easier. It's not going to get easier over time to find a conservative man. Unless, like, if she's in her mid-30s, what is she going to go for? A man in his late 40s? It's like, this is the problem with a lot of these women. Right? Even supposedly she's conservative, but she focused on her career. She focused on her career. Yo, Highly Games, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. So that's the problem, right? Supposedly she's conservative, Christian, but she focused on her career. She owns a business now. Great for her. But again, shows you can't have it all. This is the problem with so many women. If you don't focus on something, you're not going to accomplish it. She focused on her career. She focused on her business. She has it now. But guess what? She looks like she's probably, in her late 30s. It's not going to get easy to find a man.
And unfortunately, I would say what you have has become, that's not the norm anymore. But I do think that a lot of people, if they had the ability, would choose to have that kind of marriage. Absolutely. But also, again, I look at a society that's not necessarily willing to make some of the sacrifices that come with that, because it is a choice. And so, I just think that if you're a Christian, your family comes first, your husband and your kids, and the workforce is secondary to that. So again, that's why not that it's wrong for a woman to make money, support herself. I think that's all great, but I don't think a woman has to be defined by that.
I like what you said though, okay, we're talking about kids. Well, what happens before kids, right? Like right now, I'm married. We haven't been blessed with kids yet, and I feel like if I didn't work, I'd be so bored. Like, what would I do with my time?
I agree. Men are selfless. Women are selfish. 100%.
And I love having purpose through my job, but it just brings up a point too. I think about how I was indoctrinated throughout college. I definitely feel like, besides maybe my parents and some good friend role models, I wasn't hearing a lot more of that push to start a family right away, and just to be dating for marriage in general, right? It was more dating for myself, what made me happy, the pleasures of the moment, just kind of living freely. And I think it's that some of that feminism messaging out there about, as a woman, get a job, find your passion, versus that encouragement from society, which is there's so much fulfillment in finding that partner, being a mom eventually, right? But it's I think the conversation made me think of that, as how this is just how it played out for me. But I can acknowledge that because I didn't hear that a lot in the culture, I did gravitate towards a career path versus I wanted to be out seriously dating to find my partner. It was really more about me, how I could, grow, how I could do a career, get money. So I think people can struggle with that, or that can be a factor played in with feminism.
I think there's a level of selflessness that comes with not saying God is very gracious to me. I am not the prototype or anything like that, please. But I think there is a type of selflessness that comes to doing or living a traditional life, especially at a young age, because I got married after my first year of college. I could have continued college and said, I want to wait until I establish my career. I wanted to get married, so I got married. And then
Yo, TBD, thank you for the love. As a man, I see women below 30 more suitable to have kids with. I agree. I mean, this is a thing where, honestly, as women get older, I've said this before. If you've seen my content before, I've said this plenty of times. As women get older, they become bigger red flags. Why? Well, as women get older, they gain more trauma. Now, a younger woman could probably have a lot of trauma, right? Of course. This is not a 100% everyone, right? In general, as people get older, they gain more trauma. They develop more ideology. They become more set in their ways, right? As people get older, they become more set in the ways. Guess what? Dating a woman that has a decent amount of trauma, set in their ways, they're just going to be harder to deal with. Right? They're just going to be harder to deal with. They're just going to be annoying. And yes, having a family is just going to get harder. Right? Having a family is just going to get harder. You're going to have to move quicker and all that shit. It's you're going to have to rush things. It's not that easy.
And we had kids and all of these things. And I I feel like there's a lot of value, especially in the feminist movement, to establish yourself before XYZ, like you said. And I feel like there's not a lot of women encouraging women who maybe don't have that desire or have been given an opportunity to get married and have kids at a young age, but they're like, but I don't have my career yet, so I can't do that. I'm not financially ready. You're never financially ready unless you're rich, okay? You're not. And the more money you have, the more money you're gonna spend. So it's always gonna feel like I'm never ready. And so I feel like there's just needs to be more voices for women who want to do it young and want to get married young and don't want to seek a career in establishing themselves, because I found myself in my marriage and through being a mom. And I know that's not a monolith and that doesn't work for everyone, but it's a thing and it's available and it's an option for women too.
Yeah, and what we want, sometimes it's more of a condition to want, right? It's like because of external voices and forces around us, it's like, do you really want to find your passion in your career path, or are you just hearing that from everyone around you and you're like, well, that's what I should want? And then to the point where you really do believe it, you know? And things, it can be true or different for people, but yeah, I think that's something to think about too.
And I think there's also a biological clock that gets ignored often in the conversation too. Like there is a point where women are way less likely to have kids. And if they do get pregnant, the risk is way up. So there is a biological factor in being a woman that we have to consider when we're chasing our career versus like focusing on something that holds extreme value as well, so.
I think it could be like a feminist thing, but it could also just be like a generational thing. I mean, if you grew up, I don't know, like my parents' generation, obviously they're just getting married and like having kids and mom staying at home, you know what I mean? So I think it is just something that happens with time, is like generations just change. We evolve as people. And I think what I hear you guys saying is that you guys want to go back to like old traditional values, you know? And I think it's kind of, it might not be fully on the feminist movement. You know, I feel like that'd be giving us maybe too much power, saying we like changed a generation, you know? I think we definitely contributed to it. I would like hope so, you know?
I would like to piggyback off of you because, I mean, to your point, I do think a lot of times, you know, if a woman does want to pursue a family and to be married, whether that's with their partner or otherwise, I do think it is looked down upon in a way. And I personally disagree with that. I think, like I was saying in my original point, any work that a woman does should be compensated because it is incredibly hard work and you have had to make sacrifices for it. But I think for me too, like that position.
Your compensation for having a kid is having a kid. It's like, I swear to God, your compensation for being a stay-at-home wife is being the stay-at-home wife. That is the compensation. Shut the fuck up.
In which you are financially reliant upon your partner has been used as a tool of oppression to hold women down. And then additionally, like historically, when you look at it, oftentimes the people who were staying home is again majority of white women. And so it like kind of decenters the larger conversation of like, it's not just feminism in the sense of empowerment, but where can we meet women so that they can be uplifted financially, even if they fall outside of that norm of, I have the financial capabilities, because historically, most stay-at-home mothers were white women, and women of color had to work outside of the home. And so I think that's just one aspect of like, you have to think about those sorts of things as well, because from your perspective, for all of you, it is very traditional in that way, but also what happens when your husband dies. You've said that your husband works a hard job, and going back to my HR roots, like, how are you going to pay for the mortgage? How are you going to pay for the funeral? How are you going to keep your children fed? How are you going to continue these things that require money? And you can speak on it, but I have seen countless people's lives change in an instant. And so with all of that context, to me, it makes sense whether you think of it as squirreling away money for yourself or for your future, because you'll need your own retirement should your partner pass away. You'll need your own things to be set up for you. And I don't think that necessarily negates from the traditional value. I think you can have money for yourself in your future and it still be a part of the family unit.
Yeah. I think also like we've mentioned some things about like feminists being like almost anti-male. I think someone said that early on. And I would say feminism honestly probably helps some men's mental health because it takes off pressure from them feeling like they have to be the sole provider. Like I can't imagine.
No, it doesn't. Right? It doesn't. Because women are still expectant. Why do you think, right? Why do you think finances is usually a big, I mean, I'm not saying it's the biggest, right? I'm not saying it's number one. But why is it one of the reasons? Because women still are expectant.
Feeling like I would have to provide for like my wife and like, I don't know, hypothetically 3 kids, let's say, you know, and all that comes with that. Like in Nebraska, Omaha, you have to have a car. Like you're not getting anywhere unless you have a car. That's just, it's not accessible. Like public transportation isn't good enough in Omaha yet. So I think just being practical as well, like going into the dating scene, I think that would make it really hard on a lot of women to find men if their standard is you have to like financially support me as soon as I pop this kid out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna stay at home, you better have it handled, and that's that, you know? I feel like the man would probably go into a lot of stress. Like,
I think it's a conversation that you have, you know, with whoever you're gonna be with, because I think there's a lot of men that don't like the idea of having kids and sending them off to daycare. You know, they wanna be able to provide so their wife and the mother of their children can stay home and, you know, raise their own children. And so I understand what you're saying, and I think, you know, it goes back to who you're with and having that conversation, but I think there's a lot of men that desire for the wife and the mother of their children to be able to be the one that's actively involved in raising their children, because I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but I do feel like there are, you know, people involved in our society and our government that want to push women out of the home in order for the system to basically raise our children, you know, and it's like they keep pushing younger and younger to get kids, you know, into Head Start and, you know, preschool and pre-K. And it's like, you know, those years actually, I think for children are better at home, you know, just being creative than being in some really structured system. And so I think there's a bigger system here at play of, you know, wanting to pull women out of the home so then the system can raise our children instead of the family. Because again, I believe the family unit is the backbone of a healthy society. And so if they can break families apart, they can get kids into the system, they can mold them into the way they want them to be, shape their mindsets how they want it to be. And I think that's where you have seen a shift in society. You know, I know a lot of parents are like, we didn't raise our kids to be that way. And then they go to high school and college and come out completely different. And unfortunately, that's what happens when a lot of parents quit playing an active role in their children's lives and let the system raise their children. And so I would push back against that and say, actually, there's a lot of men that would like to be able to have the ability to keep their children at home and raise them. As far
I agree, right? Feminism, I do agree with this woman saying that, like, it is better. I personally believe it's better that women, at least for early development, you know, stay at home. So I definitely agree to that. I definitely agree with what TBD said. I think feminism has damaged a lot of men mentally, right? It has made dating confusing and horrible, has made marriages pretty much honestly just a terrible place, right? So yeah, I think it's been absolutely shitty. True, the system preys on the insecurities of women to get children into the state hard. I agree. Never have kids with a woman over there. Raw. Yes. Uh, can't. I can see that. I can understand that. Right, guys. What's up? Thank you, guys. I think that's it for tonight. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you for the support. Please check out my other videos. Please like. Please subscribe if you guys haven't, right? Please subscribe and please like if you haven't. Please check out my other videos. Please like the other videos. It helps me out. Please check them out. Please comment if you guys could, right? You guys are amazing. TBD, thank you, my brother. Please keep me updated on your health. If it doesn't have to be this week. I'm not pressed to it. It could be next week or the week after, right? Raw, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for a quick comment. I love it. 20% of male is because of relationship ending. I agree, right? I told you guys about how my last relationship almost ended me, so I definitely understand that. Omni, thank you, my brother. Thank you, brother Mike. Thank you. All right. Evil Eddie, thank you for being here. Steve, I love you, my man. Mr. Smith, I love you. Thank you for being here. Laughing Man was here. I love you. My brother. Antics was here. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the support. yes, like I said, please check out my other videos. Please like them. Please comment on them. It helps them out. Helps push out the videos. But yeah. Evil Eddie, I love you, my brother. Thank you. I'm my brother. I love you. I love you. Thank you for always being here. But yeah, that is it for tonight. Hope you guys have a good weekend. But later, guys. All right, later.